Alright, here we are, back again on another Sunday, late night Sunday, because, like, fuck, what is a streaming schedule anymore? Like, fuck, man, who cares? Who cares? The next week's gonna throw everything off anyways. I mean, for Christ's sake, we've got State of Play, we've got Summer Games Fest, we've got Xbox Game Showcase, we got everything. Except for a Nintendo Direct. That'll probably come near the end of the month. You never know. I could randomly see, like, next Monday. Not tomorrow Monday, but the Monday after that. Nintendo just randomly being like, oh yeah, Nintendo Direct tomorrow morning. 6 a.m. Fuck you. I could see that. Totally. So, today the big thing is, for the first time in a long time, we've actually got a topic of the show. That doesn't happen all that often. At least it hasn't happened in a while. Not since, lead up to the Switch 2 release? Has it? I don't think it's been a year, but it's been a while. And so, for our topic, it's Summer Games Fest predictions. We're going to go through each of the different things and talk about them. We do have some gaming news, though. I think I have, 4 news stories. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, we got 4 news stories. No bite size this week. We got too many things. And then we've got, for WIBE, the actual WIBE part, we got a food thing, we got a video game, we got a TV show, and we got a movie, as well as the Marble League. So we got a lot to do this week. I'm sure we will have plenty of time. For the game tonight, we're going to be playing New Super Luigi U, because we did New Super Mario Bros. U last week. We might be able to beat the game. I know New Super Luigi U is semi-long, but also, it's all a bunch of speedrun levels. Every level is 99 seconds. So you can actually get through the game pretty quick. I'm going to try to avoid using speedrun shortcuts. If it happens, it happens, kind of like last week. If it happens, it happens. But I think we're just going to casually go through the game. I'm probably going to skip over either World 3 or World 4, because, you get that split path. I'm probably going to avoid that. But other than that, I want to kind of do everything else, just, casually play through the game. I will say, I don't really like New Super Luigi U, because of its speedrun nature, the slipperier controls, the higher jump. I don't think it's a bad game, and I definitely feel like, yeah, by this point, this is basically the 5th New Super Mario Bros. Games. We were out of ideas. They were just kind of throwing whatever at the wall. And it is at least more interesting than the base game. By making everything a speedrun level, that's at least a little bit more interesting, but I just find it less fun than the base game. But who knows, maybe I'll change my mind. I have not played this since it came out, 2019 was when Deluxe came out. So it's been a while. But hey, it should be fun. We'll have a good old time. And yeah. So with that, let me take a drink. There was a new Mountain Dew this week, Whiteout. I have it. I have had it. I don't really like it though. So instead I've got just a Voltage. Voltage is okay. Oh my gosh, I just had to cough. Ugh. Alright, let me boot this up, boot that, and then boom, we're in! Yeah, doesn't that contrast very well? A Mario game mixed with whatever. I'm looking at that other one. That must have been a, not maybe a speedrun or something, because I do not have much progress on that one. What, just the last 2 worlds? Yeah, I think the last time I played through this game, I speedran it. Like a legit speedrun. Not a bullshit speedrun. But yeah, so like I was saying earlier, if you've never played this, which I do, if you're looking for a Mario game, I'd recommend Wonder first. Especially because it went on sale for like $30 a few days ago. But if you're looking for something else, this game's not bad. And New Super Luigi is all based around speedrunning, getting through these levels quick. You know, you got a higher jump. The ground, it's not ice physics, but it's more slippery. You don't immediately come to a stop. And it just makes for some more interesting level design. They're definitely more experimental with things. I'll give them that. It's not a bad game by any means. Let me hit that. The world map is the same. All the level themes are basically the same. You know, it's the game you expect.
Here we go.
And we're going to hear that a lot, by the way. That 99-second left jingle. You would think in a speedrun game, they would get rid of that. Nope, it starts every fucking level. And now, the first time it happens in this first world, I think that's okay. Because it's to indicate to the player, like, hey, you know, normally in Mario levels you have 300 seconds. In this you only have 99. So you need a quick way to indicate that to the player. It makes sense, but it happens in every fucking level. Oh my gosh. It's technically logical game design, but it is annoying. And I've already died. We're not going for all the star coins or anything like that. No. I've done it before. I think I did it on the Wii U version, but that was a long time ago, and it ain't worth it again. Definitely not. Alright, so for our main topic of the show, we are going to be talking about Summer Games Fest. Now, when I say Summer Games Fest, I am talking about the collection of shows that happen around the same week to one another. You know, basically, we used to have E3, ran by the ESA, that evil, horrible organization. And now we have Summer Games Fest, which is just run by Jeff Keighley, who is evil, just a different kind of evil. And so, we've got Summer Games Fest, the main show, which is just a general show trying to talk about, you know, basically Summer Games Fest is designed, anyone can enjoy it. Anyone will get anything out of it, you know, it's trying to appeal to everybody. As a result, some will say it appeals to nobody, and, you know, fair. I feel like they've gotten better over the years, but whatever. Of course, there are plenty of other shows in the Summer Games Fest catalog. The PlayStation State of Play, which is happening not tomorrow, but the day after, is part of that. Oops, I hit the wrong button. But yeah, the PlayStation State of Play is part of that. The Xbox Game Showcase is part of that. The PC Gaming Show is part of that. But there are a lot of other shows as well. There's a... Let me see, what is this? There's a Black Voices in Gaming Showcase right before the State of Play. There's a Latin American Gaming Showcase. There's a woman-led game showcase. There's Day of the Devs, which happens right after Summer Games Fest. A Southeast Asian game showcase. I think that's the Cozy Games Direct or the Wholesome Games Direct. The Wholesome Games Direct usually always has some good stuff. If you're ever to watch any of these other shows besides for the big 3 or 4, I always recommend the Wholesome Game Show. The Wholesome Game Showcase has some good stuff, whereas like the PC Gaming Showcase kind of sucks every year. I don't know, last year's had some okay stuff in it. I only saw the last like 10 minutes, but I'm pretty sure that was the one that got us Tome 2 and Unbreakable, which Unbreakable wasn't amazing, but it was fine. There's Story Rich Showcase, Green Game Showcase, there's a Pride Parade Gaming Showcase, there's Frosty Games Fest, there's the Xbox Showcase on the 7th, the PC Gaming Showcase right afterwards on the 7th, there's a Dutch Indie Showcase, and finally an India Game Showcase. So there are, you know, Summer Games Fest always gets boiled down to those 2 or 3 shows, but there are a lot of other shows, and hey, you never know. You might find your next favorite game within one of those shows. It is always, anything is possible. Because you just never know, you know? So that's that. So we're going to go through each of these showcases. We're going to start off with Summer Games Fest, then we'll go over to State of Play, then we'll do the Xbox Game Showcase, and then even though a Nintendo Direct has not been scheduled as of this moment, Nintendo, for the past few years, has done a showcase around the same time. Usually they just don't give much lead up. Usually PlayStation doesn't give that much lead up either. It's actually kind of interesting that for the first time, they gave 2 weeks notice. So Nintendo usually only gives like 48-hour notice. So do fully expect that going into this, that I'm going to give my Nintendo predictions today, but we might not get the Nintendo showcase until like the end of the month, you know, basically right before Star Fox comes out. That is also totally possible. I do think Nintendo is doing something. They didn't do a showcase in February, they didn't do a showcase in April. I mean, they did a partner direct at some point, but nobody gives a shit about that. I think we're going to get a full-on Nintendo Direct. Because mostly we've been getting... I used to call them Twitter Directs. I guess they're now called Nintendo Today Directs. We've been getting a lot of Nintendo Today Directs, but I do think that's going to, you know, we are still going to get a traditional showcase. We'll get one now, and then we'll probably get one in September. The one right now will tell us for the rest of the year, and the one in September will get us into next year. That's usually how it works. Usually Nintendo does a showcase at the beginning, the middle, and then September. They don't usually do one in winter. I mean, unless you count the February thing, which I don't. I guess then you could say they don't usually do one in spring. Whatever, I'm being semantics. So, yeah, let's start off with Summer Games Fest. So, the initial Summer Games Fest show is very much, I don't want to say a mixed bag, but like I was saying earlier, in the attempts to appeal to everybody, you kind of appeal to nobody. Now, I think a good Summer Games Fest show is one where it shows off at least one game you're interested in. As long as you walk away with one, you know, moderately sized game that you're like, yeah, I'll probably play that, or yeah, that seems interesting, then I think the showcase was a success. It's kind of like an indie showcase. I would say indie showcases also work the same way, where as long as you get like one good game you're interested in, the show's a success. The problem is, whereas most indie showcases are like 15 to 20 minutes, Summer Games Fest is usually over an hour. And then there's stuff like fucking the Game Awards, which are like 3. But I have given the Game Awards credit. In the past 2 years, the Game Awards has gotten better. The Game Awards has been better recently. You know, I've more or less enjoyed the last 2 years of shows. Summer Games Fest, on the other hand, tends to lose me a lot quicker. I'm not saying it's like shit or anything. it just loses me easier, because there's a lot more going on. But I still have some things I want to predict. I will also say, I'm going to there are certain predictions that I'm just going to place down as long as they appear in one of these showcases. I still count that as a correct. Just because they're not in Jeff Keighley's show, maybe they show up in the PlayStation showcase, maybe they show up in the Xbox showcase, maybe I'll predict something for the Xbox showcase that shows up in Jeff Keighley's show. You kind of never know when everyone's competing for these same things. You just gotta put stuff somewheres. And so I think it makes sense to, you know, break it down like that. As long as it shows up somewheres, then I'm more or less correct. So the first thing I got is this Witcher DLC. Earlier, this will be a news story later on. This is one of, you know, two things this week, at least two things, that is going to be here and also a news story. But they announced that they're doing another Witcher 3 DLC this week. That CD Projekt Red has teamed up with another developer to do another Witcher DLC. This one's called Blood and Wine? Or not Blood and... I have to go down to my other notes to find it. It's called Songs of the Past. No, Blood and Wine's the one that's already out. So they're doing a new Witcher DLC called Songs of the Past. It's coming out next year. And in the announcement for this, they say that we'll get information later this summer. But I can also see, hey, guess what? You know, they're basically double confirming it at Jeff Keighley's showcase. That is something I could also realistically see. So I do think this third Witcher DLC is coming, you know, it'll be here in some capacity. I don't know, it's one of those things where it's like, does Jeff Keighley really need the Witcher? You know, Jeff Keighley needs the Witcher DLC more than CD Projekt Red needs Jeff Keighley, if that makes any sense. And that's a lot of things, by the way. That's very much how the Summer Games Fest showcase works. So, we could get something, but we also could get nothing. You kind of never know with these things. But I wouldn't be surprised if, no, we basically get a little bit more information at Jeff Keighley's show. So that's my first thing. Next up, I do think we might get something new from Software. It's either going to be here or at the PlayStation showcase. Because, well, yes, we do have the Duskbloods, and it is coming out this year, and, you know, that's going to be at the Nintendo thing. I do think From Software is working on something else. They do have multiple teams. If it's just a Bloodborne remake or Bloodborne... I don't think it's going to be Bloodborne 2. I really don't. I could see Bloodborne remake. I could see Bloodborne on PC. Whatever, you know, Bloodborne PS5, I guess. Whatever that ends up being. If it's a PlayStation exclusive thing, it'll be there. However, if it's not, if it's, you know, Dark Souls 4, I don't think it's going to be Elden Ring 2. But if it's just something else, I could see it being here. This could also just be the new update for Night Rain. If this just ends up being that, I could see that being at Jeff Keighley's showcase as well. But I think From Software is going to show up here, as well as, obviously, the Nintendo thing. Because they've got both that, and they've got the Elden Ring port. Next up, Monster Hunter Wilds. As far as I know, Monster Hunter Wilds isn't PlayStation exclusive, like I want to say the previous Monster Hunter Worlds was. As far as I'm aware, it's on multiple systems. And I know it's definitely on PC, because people were mad at the PC port. But it's been a while since Monster Hunter Wilds came out, and it getting a DLC would make a lot of sense. This could also be something for Monster Hunter Stories. I heard somewhere something about like how Monster Hunter Stories was like unfinished or something like that. Monster Hunter Stories 3. It had some sort of issue with its ending, so it getting a sort of Mass Effect 3 style DLC would also make logical sense. But I think Monster Hunter Wilds is the safer, more logical choice. I've never played either of these games, but I could see it being here. It could also be a PlayStation's thing. Again, it just depends on how these contracts work out, but I'm putting it here at Jeffy Boy's showcase. Because it makes sense to be at Jeffy Boy's showcase. Next up, Hideo Kojima. You know, Hideo Kojima and Jeff Keighley are BFFs, best friends forever. And Hideo Kojima's next game, OD, was shown off at, I want to say, the Game Awards. You know, the one he's working on with Jordan Peele. We don't really know anything about OD, but I could see it, you know, if it is closer to release date, i.e. coming out within the next year, I do think it'll be here. We could also be getting something for Death Stranding 2, I guess. Now, the one caveat for all the Hideo Kojima stuff is people are mad at Hideo Kojima right now, because if you haven't been paying attention to all the AI news, you know, there was that whole thing with, oh gosh, I don't want to get his name wrong. Jorge Gutierrez? George Gutierrez? The guy who created El Tigre. People are mad at him for this AI show that he was doing at Amazon. And now that's been canceled. You know, he stepped away from the project. And now, in the middle of all that going on, people have now turned their ire on Hideo Kojima. Because while just the talk of Gutierrez making this AI show was going on, Hideo Kojima was actually using AI. Specifically, he was making an ad for Prada. You know, Prada. And he made an ad that uses AI. It's like a 6-minute ad. They're doing this whole special event to show it off. And it just kind of went under the radar, but now that that's all over, people can now get back to, yeah, people are mad at Kojima for using AI. I don't think people are mad enough, because, again, this is kind of flown under the radar, that he won't be at Summer Games Fest. But just when he shows up at Summer Games Fest next week, I will most certainly bring up that Kojima just used AI and that we can't trust him at the moment because of that. Because, yeah, you know, it is basically selling your soul. Oh, God, I keep seeing these ads for data centers. Like, oh, this data center is going to be so great. Oh, but what about the water? Well, don't worry about the water. What about the energy intake? Don't worry about the energy intake. It's all going to be A-okay. Man, fuck these fucking data centers. They're literally lying to you and, you know, spreading their propaganda about how they're not going to destroy your community. Fuck these AI data centers. But yeah, I guess they're not building one too far away from where, like, within like an hour of where I live. So that fucking sucks. Fuck these fucking data centers, man. And that's not even as bad as, like, the Utah one. The Utah one is, like, way worse. But won't somebody think of the billionaires? Fucking Christ. So yeah, Hideo Kojima, I'm not mad, per se. I'm more just disappointed. Because Kojima's one of the auteurs of the gaming industry. He's the people we point at to be like, yeah, gaming, that's art right there. And now he's doing this AI bullshit. Like, fuck, man. Fuck. But I can see it there. Next up, there's that game Marvel 1943, The Rise of Hydra. If this game doesn't... So, currently at the moment, this game is scheduled to release this year. It got delayed from last year. I think before that, it got delayed from the year before that. You know, it's been delayed multiple times. And I'm kind of amazed it hasn't been canceled. It's one of those just weird games that I fully expected to be canceled. Sadly, kind of like that Wonder Woman game. That would have been great, but, you know, the forces that be. I have far less confidence in this Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra. I legitimately do not think it's coming out. And so if it does not show up at any of these showcases, that gives me a very high suspicion that it is being delayed. You know, it's either delayed again or it's canceled or fucking something. Because everything behind the scenes of this just looks like a fucking mess. But you never know. You never know. Going from a -1 to a +1. At Fate's End. This was, I think, this was either revealed at a Nintendo Direct, like an indie showcase, or this was revealed at the Game Awards last year. This is the game made by the developers of Spiritfarer. Spiritfarer is an amazing indie game. It'll make you cry. It's good. It's really good. And they're doing a new game called At Fate's End, which is all about, like, these gods. And you're kind of like, you're like this, it's like a god, not like a god of music or something. But you're having to, like, deal with your siblings who are also gods of, like, different things. And they each have, like, their powers and their sacrifices. And it also seems to be very emotional. And it's one of my most anticipated games of the year. Like, it was right behind, like, Mina the Hollower, you know, one of those games that I'm really looking forward to. And I guess people who played the demo earlier this year at one of these gaming shows really liked it. So I am definitely looking forward to it. And I think it could be at Summer Games Fest. I know somebody got... Again, if Nintendo has it, it'll be at their thing. I know somebody's got it, though. And we'll definitely see something, and hopefully get a release date. I've got a bunch of other games that I think we'll get release dates for. Control Resonant. Right, the new Control game that looks pretty good, you know, looks pretty mind-bending, like all the other ones. You know, you're in this... It's not virtual reality, but you're in this weird liminal... Not even liminal space. Just this weird warped reality. And I don't know, it looks good. I've heard good things about it. I don't know, there was a rumor that it's gonna come out at, like, the end of June, like June 30th. I don't really believe that rumor, but, like, fuck, man, anything is possible. So that could totally happen. But, yeah, you know, it'll probably be at one of these showcases, and I think it makes the most sense to be at Jeff's. Castlevania Curse of Belmont. This is the new Castlevania game being developed by the people who made Dead Cells, which Dead Cells is an amazing game. One of my top 20 games of all time. I love it. So it's showing back up. We need to finally get a release date. It might also be a PlayStation show. I think they also have all the Konami stuff, so maybe it's there. But we'll see it. We'll see it, and we'll get a release date, finally. Onimusha, Way of the Sword. I want to say Onimusha was revealed at Summer Games Fest. Not last year, but the year before. It is, you know, people have played demos. I think it's coming out. I think it's coming out later this year. At least at the moment, it's scheduled to be coming out later this year. So I do think we'll see it. Next up, Tomb Raider. I don't think Xbox still has exclusivity over Tomb Raider. I kind of don't remember. I know this Tomb Raider was shown off at the Game Awards last year. So if it's gonna be back, I think it makes sense to be back here. But yeah, I don't think, because Xbox had exclusivity on Tomb Raider for a while. I don't think they do anymore. This new one, Legacy of Atlantis, it is a remake, but you know, people are down for that. It's been a while. People are down for a remake. Next up, Persona. Persona's gonna be at one of these things, because we got two things. We know we're getting Persona 4 Revival. That's the big one that got announced last year, that I know some people had some sort of worry about. I've never played a Persona game. I'm not a good judge. And then the other thing is Persona 6. It's been... Literally, Persona 5 was a PS3 game. And they have milked Persona 5 for everything it's worth. You know, in the same way they milked Persona 4 for everything it's worth. And then some. So I think it makes sense that we're finally gonna get Persona 6. It's gonna show up at one of these things. And why not Jeff Keighley showcase? Why not? I think Persona 6 makes sense. You know, even if it's just like a, hey, you know, this is coming next year, you know, even if it's just like a logo teaser. The logo teaser, you know, showing the color green would be huge. So that is something I could see. I think that makes logical sense. Now, the one I do have questions about is GTA. Because GTA, I think, will show up at one of these showcases. I think the most likely one is PlayStation's. I think it would make the most sense for GTA to show up at PlayStation's. But you never really know. You know, maybe Jeff Keighley did get GTA. Because as far as we're aware, it has not been delayed. It's still coming out into November, and while normally Rockstar doesn't actually do that much marketing, like, they don't do these big marketing pushes, like, they do big marketing pushes, but when it comes to, like, reveal trailers and stuff like that, they're actually very understated. Like, Red Dead Redemption 2 only got, like, 2 or 3 trailers, and most of them were just part of, like, you know, it was like one big gameplay showcase, one story trailer, and that was basically it. So I could see us getting something, you know, another big thing on GTA 6, doubling down that yes, it is coming out in November. Either that or announcing that it is getting delayed, because even though I said if they were going to announce or delay it, we were going to find out by May. That didn't happen. Because, you know, today is the last day of May. But they could still always do it. I mean, they could do it up until, like, a month before the game comes out. For fuck's sake. Even though the entire gaming industry is relying on, you know, GTA 6. And we'll talk about the Fable stuff here in a little bit. So, I do think it is coming this year, though. It kind of, again, if something were to happen, it would have happened this month. And the fact that nothing did happen really does make me think that no, it is coming this year. So yeah, GTA 6, it'll be at something. But I know Jeff Keighley really wants GTA 6. The question is just, did he get it? The other one is Half-Life 3. I know a lot of people really want Half-Life 3. They really wanted it at Jeff's showcase. They wanted it at the Game Awards last year. You know, even though the writing kind of seemed to be on the wall with something to do with the Steam machine, that didn't happen. And then we got the Steam Deck story that we'll talk about in a little bit. But let's just say things aren't exactly looking great right now. I don't think we're getting the Steam machine anytime soon, or if we are, it's gonna cost like $1,200. You know, it's gonna be a lot. It's definitely gonna be over 1,000, which fucking sucks. That fucking sucks. Well, we'll just have to wait and see. But no, I don't think we're getting Half-Life 3. For as much as people do really want it, I don't think it's happening. I just don't. And yeah, that's everything I've got for Summer Games Fest. It's not really that much. The problem is Summer Games Fest is just a hard show to predict. On one hand, that's, you know, a good thing because it allows for more surprises. But on the other hand, it's just kind of, you know, a little bit more boring. The show's a little bit more broad. It's less interesting. So that's all I got for that one. The next one is the State of Play. This is the big one. This is the one people care about. You know, it's in 2 days. People are very excited for this. And yeah, I am excited as well. So the first big one we know is the Wolverine. This has already been confirmed. People have seen the special edition collection menu from Alamo Drafthouse. You know, they're doing fucking... oh, what is it? rogue mozzarella sticks, savage land sausages. I don't fucking remember what the menu is. Cause yeah, if you've never been to an Alamo Draft House, they tend to do like theme menus and themed foods you can buy. It's actually a really cool thing. You know, it can be fun, and sometimes you get some good stuff, sometimes you get some shit. But you know, most of the time it's solid. I'm an Alamo Draft House defender. What can I say? I know people are mad at them for their whole menu change. I get it, but I actually almost always use my phone to order anyways. What can I say? So, yeah, you know, the Wolverine, we're going to see a big gameplay showcase. They specifically, I know, talked about how they're going to focus on, like, the violence, the combat system, stuff like that. I know we talked about this last week. And yeah, the Wolverine, it's going to be good. It's going to show good. I could see upwards of 10 minutes of the Wolverine. Because we know this is a 60-minute show. So I think, you know, a sixth of the show just being, you know, a very detailed look at Wolverine, I think would make a lot of sense. I think that's going to be the big one, because that's the game that they have coming out. And we really have not seen that much of it. Just being fully honest, we have not seen that much. And like a full extended gameplay look, that's kind of like, you know, what they did with Spider-Man back in the day, where we got the whole scene on the building, and then him chasing the crane. I could totally see something like that being here. So I do fully suspect that we'll get like 10 minutes of the Wolverine. That, however, does leave a whole lot of extra show. So what else do I expect? Horizon's Hunter's Gathering. Again, they just held a closed beta last weekend. I could see them showing it off. Because I don't think Horizon Hunter's Gathering has ever been at one of these showcases. It has been almost entirely disconnected. So I could see it officially being shown at one of these showcases. As well as the announcement that, like, hey, guess what? It's getting an open beta. That later this year, you know, I don't know when, but just, let's say in August, they're going to be doing an open beta where we'll get to see more of Horizons, and, you know, people will get to play it. Like, it'll be open to the public, you know, a stress test sort of thing. I could totally see that. I don't know, I got invited to the closed beta. I did not play it. I don't hate Horizons. I know there's some people who really hate Horizons, talk about how it's like an industry plant or whatever the fuck. I'm not that dedicated, man. It's not. It's a first-party PlayStation game. No shit, it's gonna sell well, because they put a lot of time and effort into it. God. I don't know, people have their hate boners for Horizon. Is part of it sexism? Yeah, definitely. Is it all sexism? No, but there's a non-insignificant part of it that is. So I do think we're going to see that. Another multiplayer game we're going to see is Break-In. This is rumored to be that Fair Games that was announced a while ago. That, you know, they changed the name from Fair Games to Fair Game. Now it looks like they're changing the name to Break-In. I legitimately remember nothing about this game. I recognize the name Fair Games, but outside of that, I don't actually remember anything about it. So I think this makes sense as like the big re-reveal. I guess I'm interested in seeing it again, but I'm over multiplayer games. I really am. What was that one roguelite multiplayer game? That I could see that. I think that was at at the Game Awards. I could see that being at Summer Games Fest as well. It wasn't Rogue Company. It wasn't like Road Company or Dead Company or I don't remember what the fuck it was. But I could see that showing up. Next up, Silent Hill Townfall. This was shown at the last day to play. I do think we'll see it again, and the main thing is we need a release date. As far as I'm aware, we don't have a release date. I think in October, you know, they love to do October release dates. I think an October release date makes a lot of sense. You know, you can't get too close to GTA 6, but October is fine. So I think they'll do that. Kenna, Scars of Cosmora. Kenna, I think it's Kenna, Bridge of Spirits. Its sequel that got announced at the last State of Play, which looks good. Again, Kenna, Bridge of Spirits is a decent game that it really does seem like if the sequel is good, it'll fix all the problems with the original and make a truly great game. Which, you know, there's some precedent for that. You know, sequels that fix problems with the originals. So I do think anything is possible, and yeah, I want it to be good. You know, I'm rooting for the game. The first one just came to Switch recently. It's actually currently on sale as far as I'm aware. So if you've ever been interested in it, okay, it might be Switch 2, but you get my point. I wouldn't be surprised if it's on sale on other things as well. But yeah, the sequel looks good. I'm interested, and I do think we'll see it. And we'll get a release date, because we do need one. If I had to guess a release date, I'd say September. Could be August. August, I think, also makes sense. But if I had to drop a prediction, I'd say a safe prediction is September. Next up is Little Devil Inside. This is one of those games that, as far as I'm aware, it wasn't canceled. This used to show up all the time at PlayStation showcases. And then it just kind of disappeared. Little Devil Inside. Yeah, you know. Okay, here's a thing off of the Reddit. As of today, April 17th, 2026, Little Devil Inside is now the only game that was shown at the 2020 PS5 game showcase that has not released. It's an Unreal Engine 5 game that, you know, was coming out at some point, and we literally have not heard anything about it in a few years. But for a while, it was at every PlayStation showcase. And so I do see if it is, you know, still happening and everything, unless they had to fucking restart development, which is possible. But if it is still happening, I could see it coming again here soon. And, you know, maybe it's finally coming out, it gets a release date. I don't know, everything we saw about it looked interesting. It's just, yeah, will it ever come out? I guess it's coming to other platforms as well. It says it's coming to PS4, Switch, Xbox, and PC. I don't know, it's been a long time since we've seen anything of it. I say that, but I see this full, like, 37-minute gameplay demo from last year. Still, it's been a while. So, yeah. I think that one's I'm just going to call that it's going to show back up, get a release date, and yeah. Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, I think this has an August release date, but I'll see them revealing a few fighters. You know, all the fighters are based around teams, so we know, like, there's a mutant team, we know there's an Avengers team. I could see our next team being a villain team of some sort. Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls teams. So yeah, there's a Guardians team. So we know there's an Avengers team, a Guardians team, which is, you know, Spider-Man, none of the Guardians, it looks like. Wait, is this an official? I swear we know about some of the teams at this point. So there's an Amazing Guardians team with Miss Marvel, Spider-Man, Penny, and Star-Lord, of which only one of those characters is on the Guardians. There's the Avengers with Black Panther, Captain America, Hulk, and Iron Man. Makes sense. There's an X-Men team with Danger, Magik, Storm, and Wolverine. So I could see us getting 1 to 2 more teams. Or maybe because we know about Doctor Doom and Ghost Rider. And sure, they could be on the same team. You know, make some sort of, like, Magic team or something. And put them on there with, I don't know, Doctor Strange. And fucking... What's her name? Nico Minoru? Is that who I'm thinking of? Yeah, sure. Let's do Nico Minoru. Just someone else. You know, I could see them doing just someone else. I don't know. That's a possibility. I could also just see a straight-up villain team that is comprised entirely of villains. I don't know. I played the closed betas for Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls. I did not like it. I am very fucking bad at that game. I was really struggling, and so I'm not interested, really, but I do expect it to show up. Next up, Resident Evil Requiem. I think all the big Resident Evil pushes were made at PlayStation showcases, and I think we know there's going to be some sort of DLC, and even though the game's not that old, it only came out in, like, February, I could see this being the moment they're like, yeah, here you go, here's the announcement of a DLC. You know, maybe it's coming out later in the year. Again, October. You gotta get everything out before GTA. That's the thing. I do think you can get some stuff out after GTA in December. Like, you know, usually the first week of December, at least one game comes out. But no, you gotta get everything out before GTA. Like, literally, I think the last week you can release anything is probably that first week in November. Or maybe, yeah, because GTA is the 19th. So I do think the last day you can release anything is probably either, like, October 30th or November 6th. It's gonna be something like that. But yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do for a Resident Evil DLC. I know Leon Kennedy has, like, kids and, you know, a wife, and as far as I'm aware, the game never goes into any detail on that. So that being a DLC, I think would make a lot of sense. Another game I could see getting DLC is Saros. I know Saros just came out. You know, it already had its big thing. But hey, you know, it's never too early, it's never too late. Why not show some stuff off about Saros? Sure, why not? I don't know, this one's less likely than all the others, but it was on the brain. You know, I was thinking about it. Ah, shit. So yeah, Saros something. Now, a game I do have questions about, Intergalactic. If Intergalactic is coming out, again, maybe by next holiday season, so, you know, November 2027, I still think it is possible that we get another trailer this year. Because I do not think it's coming out this year. Because, you know, Naughty Dog were working on that multiplayer game, and then they canceled it. And while, yes, they were working on Intergalactic as well as that multiplayer game, it was a much smaller team. You know, development had to shift over afterwards. I still think we're about a year away. And sometimes, you know, sometimes even a year out they can still show stuff. But you just never know with these things. Maybe they'll wait, maybe they'll do it now. You can never really tell, but I do think it is totally possible that we see something. I don't think it's guaranteed or anything like that, but I do think it is possible. Another game that, you know, we know is happening, but you never know, is Final Fantasy VII Part 3. What is it going to be called? I have no fucking idea. The first one is Remake, the second one is Remake. Final Fantasy Rebirth is the second one. So it's Remake, Rebirth, and then an obvious one would be Returns. Final Fantasy VII Returns. I think that makes sense. I think that's a logical name. I think they already used Renegade, so that one's off the table. It's definitely going to have an R in the name. I just don't have a good name. I think Returns, I think that was Tim Getty's suggestion. I think Returns makes the most sense. So sure. But I could see that being announced. Do I think it's coming out this year? No, but I could see it early next year. I don't know. It feels like the time for the first one was forever. You know, it felt like it took from announcement to the first one. I feel like it took forever to get the first Final Fantasy VII Remake. But then from the first one to the second one, it was actually pretty quick. So, I could already see them doing the next one. Spurs beat OKC's ass. Duncan Van Ness hit the end. He was deserved. Listen, all I know is the Knicks are going to the finals, and that if the Knicks somehow manage to win it, which it doesn't seem very likely, they're probably going to lose to the Spurs, but if the Knicks do win it, then, you know, they're going to destroy New York. That the mayor of New York is going to lead his army of the damned, and I don't know, they're going to destroy the world or whatever. I'm actually kind of rooting for the Knicks just because I want to see the New York City get destroyed. I think that would be funny. You know? And that's the funny thing. I say that, but also, if the Knicks lose, New York City also gets destroyed. Like, yeah, you would think that, oh, well, you know, they haven't been there since 1999. I want to say the last time they won was the 70s. It's been a while, so you would think they'd be used to disappointment. But no, they'll, regardless of if they win or lose, they're going to destroy the city. But I feel like them winning and destroying the city is more positive energy than them losing and destroying the city is more negative energy. I don't know. All of the things I know about the Knicks are their joke. But then again, the only New York team I know is the Yankees. Because that was the team I was born into. Not even a Mets fan. Any predictions for the state of play or any other thing coming this Summer Games Fest? Yeah, no, I've seen it. I'll talk about, I mean, obviously, look at the background. I'll talk about it in a little bit. But I liked it. I mean, like, yeah, look at our background. Well, obviously, I saw it. But I'll say I liked it. Well then, happy early birthday. So where was I talking about? Final Fantasy VII Remake. I think Final Fantasy VII Remake, or Part 3, I think it's happening. I think it's been long enough since Remake Part 2 that yes, it is time for Part 3. I am excited to see it. And yeah, at some point I'm going to play all the Final Fantasy VII remakes. At some point that will happen. I just don't know when. But I know they're all good. I know people really like them. At some point I'll do it, just not now. What else? So, onto a little bit more speculation. Media Molecule. I know there were some rumors that Media Molecule was working on this new, like, open world game. And yeah, I could see that. I think that makes a lot of sense. Open world Media Molecule game. You know, their big thing, it was Dreams and Little Big Planet. You know, games all about making your own levels. So them experimenting, you know, I can kind of see them doing something. If you ever, I can't be specific, but there was that little Nintendo online beta test thing that they still haven't given us any information on, but I could see Media Molecule doing something like that, weirdly enough. So I think it is totally possible that we get something from them here. It's been a while. I liked Dreams. I know a lot of these creation games depend on the quality of content created, but people, I got Dreams for like $5 2 years after it came out. And I had some fun with some of that user-generated content. There was this one, like, I know someone recreated, like, Banjo-Kazooie in it, but there was this whole, like, train game that was actually pretty fun. There was this big puzzle one that was actually pretty interesting. I don't know, the idea of a video game where you can make video games is inherently appealing. I mean, Nintendo did their own take on it. I mean, you've got Mario Maker, but then you've also got Labo and Game Builder Garage. You know, Nintendo also likes that idea. I don't know. I guess I've got a soft spot for Media Molecule. I'm admittedly not a big Little Big Planet fan. That Little Big Planet PS5 game, Sackboy's Big Adventure, I did not really care for. It got fucking rocked by Astrobot. Astrobot mogged that game so fucking hard. So yeah, if they're doing something new, cool. But it's been a while. I think it's time we get something from them. Another developer that I know people are asking about if we're going to see something from is Team Asobi. Team Asobi is the developer who did Astrobot. Now, Astrobot came out in August of 24, so it hasn't even been 2 years since Astrobot came out. And in my opinion, it's too early. I think it has not been enough time since Astrobot for us to be getting Astrobot 2. But anything is possible. My thought on it, though, is I still think we've got another year, mainly because of Galaxy. Because if you don't know, after the original Mario Galaxy, they just had so many more ideas that they immediately went into development of Galaxy 2, and that took about 3 years between Galaxy 1 and Galaxy 2. It might have even been longer than that. So I would guess, if the same thing is true for Astrobot, which I do suspect it is, that they had so many ideas that they just, the game did so well, it was critically acclaimed. I would bet they immediately went into development of Astrobot 2. At least I hope they did. And yeah, I think it could be announced here with a next year release date, because I don't think we're getting it this year. Definitely not. But I do think they're going to wait another year. I think it's just a little bit too early for Astrobot 2. But I do think that is happening. Eventually. You got to have your Mario Galaxy 2 to your Mario Galaxy. I did see somebody, though, I don't know where this was. Maybe it was Twitter, maybe it was Reddit, I don't know. But someone suggested that maybe they're going to do Astro Kart. And you know what? I could see that. They even suggested they could do it with Media Molecule. Like, could you imagine, it's basically like a Mario Kart style racing game, but all the characters are Astrobots in the Astrobot costumes that, they already have for that other game they made. So, there's the Bloodborne Astrobot, there's the Leon Kennedy one, there's the Katamari Damacy one. And so instead of having to make all these different unique character models, they've just got the Astrobots in the different costumes. I think that would make sense. We got a lot of kart racers last year. I think that's a very logical thing. Astro Kart, yeah, sure, I'd love that. Then after that, we can get Astro... just call it PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale Unlimited or something, but it all just being Astrobot. I'd be fine with that. Yep. A fighting game where it's just one character over and over again, but they all have different movesets. It'd be weird, but fuck it. Let's ball. I just love Astrobot, man. PlayStation finally has their mascot after, Spyro and Crash and refusing to make it Kratos. PlayStation's got their mascot, and everybody loves him unless you're a chud. Which, don't worry, there are plenty of chuds out there. But I ain't one of them. So the next thing is, I know at the last State of Play, they announced the God of War trilogy. Now, if you don't remember, they said the God of War trilogy remake was in early development. We are not seeing the God of War trilogy anytime soon. That is not something that's happening. That is not going to be here. I'm just saying that right now. However, there have been a lot of rumors recently that we're getting a God of War spinoff. Specifically with Freya? I can't remember if it's Faye or Freya. I genuinely cannot remember. But it looks like we're getting a God of War spinoff. You know, the game's going to be focused around magic. And how, instead of having, like, the whole battle combat system, it's going to be more of a magic gameplay system. Basically, this is your playable Zelda to Kratos' Link, as per my understanding of things. And you know what? That sounds pretty fucking good to me, all things considered. So yeah, I know people are excited for this. I've seen some people speculate, like, that this God of War thing is supposed to, like, redefine gaming. Oh my god, this is the biggest thing since the original 2018 God of War reboot. I don't think I would go that far. You know, some people, the fact that PlayStation announced this showcase 2 weeks out, that they're making a big deal about this, I've seen some people say that, like, oh my god, this is, like, the next big thing. Oh my god, this is, like, super important. You know, this is the game-defining PlayStation showcase. I know that's what we all want this to be, but I don't actually see any evidence that this is what this is. I hope it is, but I don't know if God of War spin-off is going to be that. There is the question of what is it going to be called? Is it going to be, you know, something, a God of War story, a God of War adventure? You know, how are they going to play around with the name? I think it would make more sense to just give it a new name. You know, don't even mention God of War. But, like, if you've played God of War, you'll recognize the characters. But if, like, Kratos isn't going to show up or anything... I don't... What was Sons of Sparta called? Was it just called Sons of Sparta? Or was it called, you know, Kratos Sons of Sparta or something like that? It was called God of War Sons of Sparta. So, I mean, I guess anything is possible. But, yeah. And then my last thing, my Hail Mary, the one thing I'd really want, Infamous 1+2 remake. I love the Infamous games. I love them. I loved the prototype games. I did not have a PS3, but I borrowed a PS3 just to play through the Infamous games. And I played them both back to back over like a week. I'm gonna say a week, not a weekend. It was a quick time, and I really enjoyed them. Yeah, they've got their issues, but I really enjoyed them. I have a really soft spot for them, and I would love to see an Infamous 1+2 remake. I don't think it needs to be done by Sucker Punch. Normally I would say you get Bloober Team to do it. I would trust them, but they closed down Bloober Team, so like fuck everything, I guess. I don't know. I don't think this is happening, but I really want it to. I would really like that. But you never know. Sadly, you just never know. So that's all I got for PlayStation. You know, there's a few things in there. I do expect a few surprises and whatnot. Oh my god, I need to sneeze. So yeah, that's that. Next up, our next one is, of course, Xbox. This is Xbox's big showcase. So the one thing we know for sure is going to be there's Gears of War. That, you know, Xbox has this tradition of the first hour of their showcase is entirely focused around, you know, just the general showcase stuff. And then the last bit is all about one specific game. You know, PlayStation will do like, hey, we're going to show off Wolverine, and then just do 10 minutes in their main show. Xbox, on the other hand, will do like 2 or 3 minutes in their main show, and then do an entire post-show on that one game. And normally, I actually think that system works very well. Because for people who are interested in those other games, you get to spend a lot of time with them, you get to intimately know them, and for people who don't care, yeah, you can just fuck off and do other stuff. You know, that also works great. That's also totally viable. I mean, you know, I'm a big fan of, I was one of the like 10 people who liked Starfield, and seeing the Starfield thing was pretty good. One day I will play the Outer Worlds 2, and seeing them talk about that also looked pretty good. I know the game was flawed, but hey, it looked good. I need to go get some water at some point. I'm out. Okay, I have to avoid finding the secret exit in this level, because that's what we did last time. So yeah, that's the big one, is Gears of War. Admittedly, I don't remember, is Gears of War E-Day a new game or a remake? Gears of War E-Day is an upcoming third-person shooter developed by the Coalition, and People Can Fly. It is the 6th main, so it is not... I swear they were doing a Gears of War remake at some point. But no, this is a new game. This is Gears of War 6. I have never been a fan of Gears of War. I know some people really like it, especially some of those early ones. I never really could get into it. So I have no interest in Gears of War. But hey, for people who do, good for them. The next thing so I started writing these predictions, you know, about a week ago. And so the next thing I had on the list was Fable. Because Fable was the big fall game. You know, Microsoft had said a few weeks ago, you know, probably like a month or two ago, that Fable is coming out this year. They double confirmed that yes, we are getting Fable this year. Only for them to come out earlier this week and be like, no, actually, Fable is not coming out this year. We are instead pushing it to February of 2027. Now, I do not think that means doom and gloom for the game. Actually, potentially the opposite. That gives... Because I do 100% believe that the game could have reached that original... whatever original release date they had planned. I do think they could have done it. I'm gonna guess their original release date was November.
Oh. Here we go.
My guess is that the original planned release date for Fable was, again, late October, sometime mid-November, maybe even first week of December. But I do think that was happening. But because of GTA, you don't want to compete with GTA. And GTA's not getting pushed it seems like at the moment. So it's just safer to delay Fable. I think that makes sense. You know, delaying it, you know, classic quote, blah, blah, blah. Instead, I want to bring up what Nintendo has been doing recently. And that Nintendo has been finishing games and then spending like a year just debugging them. You know, Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Wonder, Donkey Kong Bonanza were all finished long before they actually came out. We know for a fact Tears of the Kingdom was done a full year before it came out, because they spent about a year debugging it. Same thing with Donkey Kong Bonanza. I want to say Donkey Kong Bonanza was done in 2024, and they spent a full year just debugging it, making the DLC and whatnot. And yeah, same thing with Tomodachi Life, even though Tomodachi Life is a very dissimilar game to the rest. Tomodachi Life was done about a year before release, and they just spent more time, you know, working on it, debugging it and whatnot, because Nintendo just holds games. That's the thing. I 100% believe that there is a Switch port of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess that has been done for a year now, that Nintendo is just kind of sitting on. It'll come out eventually. I guarantee you that back door was the secret exit, that one with the coin. I can almost guarantee it. So yeah, and the part of the reason why I think this about Fable is that in the statement, they say that they want to release the game in the way that works best for our players. That makes me think that, yeah, they don't want to compete with Grand Theft Auto. They don't want you, because yes, Fable is a far more niche game. And so it makes sense that they're not going to compete with GTA. Who would want that? You know, it's like, who would want to compete with Silk Song? So I do not blame them. And yeah, see, here's the thing. I'm not a big Fable fan. I don't really care about Fable. But it looks interesting. There is a part of me that thinks that, oh yeah, you know, this Fable game might be good. It might be something right up my alley. And so to that end, them delaying it by a few months, that's no sweat. You know, I'm fine with that. It happens, it happens. Now, I do not know if in the announcement where they announced they're delaying Fable, if they said that they're not going to show it at this upcoming Xbox Game Showcase, and the reason they announced it now is specifically to temper expectations. I would not be surprised if that's the truth, that, you know, that's the reason, because they don't expect to show it, but I do think we're going to see it. I think it only makes sense if we do see it, so I'm going to call my shot right now that yes, we will be seeing Fable. Probably, maybe they'll focus on like one specific mission, or like you know, do that like more specific game overview sort of thing. That's like, oh, here's the town of, you know, Yorkshire. And in this town, you know, you get this mission to do, you know, go stop these fire-breathing goats. And if you do it, yeah, sure, the people will like you, but the goat ranchers who their goats turned into fire-breathing goats will hate you now. But maybe there's like another solution where you can turn the ghosts back to normal, and that makes the townspeople and the goat ranchers happy. But then there's the butchers who aren't happy, who wanted to, you know, eat the flaming goat meat or something. I don't know. They could do plenty of things, just kind of showing how the different interactions in the world affect different people. God, this level looks beautiful. This is one of the best designed levels in the game. But, like, fuck, man, I'm getting my ass kicked. There's a mosquito flying around. I fucking hate mosquitoes. God, you know, I try to get rid of them. I tried some new shit this year, and none of it seemingly worked. I fucking hate mosquitoes. At least I'm pretty sure. It looks like a mosquito. I don't know, it hasn't bitten me, but I see it flying around. So yeah, Fable, you know, it'll happen when it happens. I'm interested in it either way. Next up, Halo Campaign Evolved. I thought we had a release date. I swear in my memory, we had an August release date. But I guess not. I do still think, though, we'll probably get, like, an August release date. I do think Campaign Evolved, you know, it got announced a while ago, and then I feel like it got like delayed or some shit happened. I don't know, it felt like they announced it very early, like they just randomly one day announced it and we're like, yeah, you know, it's still a year out. So but I do see us getting Halo Campaign Evolved. I think that makes sense. I don't think, you know, I know there was something about like no multiplayer or like limited multiplayer. I don't remember what entirely the bullshit was. I do not think that has changed. I know some people want that to have changed. I don't think it is. I don't think so. But hey, it's Halo Campaign Evolved. Is it still coming to, you know, PC and other places? Maybe, potentially. I don't know. Asha Sharma just did this big thing about how, oh, you know, their Xbox is for Xbox, or Xbox games are on Xbox, and then this whole thing about like, oh, well, we're not going to show other studios' logos. You know, like you're not going to see a PlayStation or Nintendo logo during an Xbox showcase. Which, to be fair, makes sense. If you had told me they were already doing that, I would have believed you. That seemed like something they would have already been doing. But I guess not. I don't think Halo Campaign Evolved has been announced to come to anything else outside of maybe PC. But it seems interesting. Next up, Minecraft Dungeons 2. So I know we just had a Minecraft Live, and well, yes, we did get some information on Minecraft Dungeons 2, including a new mob, the Twisted Wither, or Twisted Warden, which we'll talk about in a little bit. However, during it, they kind of say like, hey, you'll get more information soon, and over on the Minecraft Dungeons website, people have found this secret code, and the secret code unlocks this countdown that sure as shit is counting down to this Xbox game showcase. Okay, I need to stop going for that star coin. God, that's what's killing me. You know, I figured out the early half of the level. So yes, I do think we are going to see Minecraft Dungeons 2 at the Xbox Showcase. I think this is where it's going to get its full reveal. We'll see the new dungeon. We'll see, you know, some of these new mobs. It's funny that this new Twisted Warden was actually leaked by LEGO of all things. And then the Blub was leaked by, I think Hallmark, or one of the... It was leaked by a Christmas ornament of all things. So I don't think any of that has changed. I don't know, this ship is very leaky at the moment. But I think we'll finally get our big thing on Minecraft Dungeons 2. I don't know, I did finally buy the first Minecraft Dungeons. I saw it on sale, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it, why not? I have not played it, it's literally just been sitting on my, you know, Switch. But hey, you know, maybe I'll finally get around to it. Because I don't know, people seem to like it. It's Minecraft Legends, the other one Minecraft game that people don't like. That and the base game, which, you know, the base Minecraft is one of those games where someone who has 4,000 hours into it tells you it's the worst game they've ever played. That's the type of game that the base Minecraft is. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, this was also... I think this is where the whole thing about people being mad at the PlayStation and Nintendo logos came from, because they showed off the new Call of Duty, but the new Call of Duty legally has to be multi-platform. They cannot make it console exclusive to Xbox. At least for, I want to say, the next, like, decade... I don't know, this is our first Call of Duty on Nintendo titles. Since, what, the Wii? No, maybe the Wii U. I think Black Ops, like, 2 came to the Wii U. But it's been a while. And nope, this is coming to... I think it's just Switch 2. It's Call of Duty. I don't give a shit. It is... I know there's this thing about, like, war games selling worse the closer you are to an actual war. And while physically we are not close to a war, you know, the US is at war again. I don't give a shit what the president says. We are at war. And the fact that that Congress won't step in to stop him is a whole other bullshit. But it's gonna be, you know, I know the new Call of Duty will do well. They all do well, somehow. Ball and gun gamers are very... I don't want to say they're a silent majority. They're very annoying. But they fucking buy games. They do. Next up, Star Wars Galactic Racer. The only reason I put this in the Xbox showcase is because it was shown... When Xbox did, like... it was one of their tweets. Maybe it was the Fable one. Maybe it was one of the other ones. Xbox tweeted out recently about, like, what to expect from the Xbox showcase. And they listed off all these different, like, you know, Fable, Gears of War, Call of Duty. And then they just put Galactic Racer 2 in there for some reason. Oh, fuck, I do. Fucking... God, this is why I hate Ghost House levels. Fuck. This is literally my only problem with Super Mario World. Fuck, I remember this. We have to find a secret exit to continue on. Fuck, I do remember this. I should have gone and got some water. Fuck. So, yeah. Star Wars Galactic Racer, I think will just randomly be at the Xbox Showcase. I want to say we do have, it's like an October 16th release date, so that won't be new, but I think it makes sense to show up here. I don't know, I'm kind of interested. It is the developers of, that's our secret. Oh yeah, that's just it. I remember the secret exit being more effort than that. I guess not. But no, I do think Galactic Racer will be here. It's the developers of Burnout, which I do like Burnout. You know, that's a pretty decent game that I do want to play again. So fuck yeah, why not? Let's do it. Next up, Grounded 2. You know, Grounded 2 was revealed at the last Xbox Showcase last year. We have not seen anything from it in a while. I'd assume, because it's in early access, so I'm assuming it's been getting updates and they've been working on it in the background. Grounded 2 or the original Grounded, is also one of those games that I do kind of want to play. You know, I have not played it. I never played the original Grounded. My brother played a bunch of it. He really liked it, and he recommended it. And, you know, it eventually came to Switch. I did get it on Switch. I got it on sale for, like, a few bucks. So, like, I am interested in Grounded, the original. I just don't know when I'll get around to it. But, yeah, I'm interested in seeing, you know, some updates on Grounded 2, what's going on, you know, because I know the starting area for the second one was as big as the entire endgame map of the first one. So I am rather curious. I am rather curious to see what they're doing with the second one. I don't know when its last update is. I don't think it's... I want to say the first game spent like 2 or 3 years in early access, so I don't think we're out of early access for at least like another year. But hey, they're working on it. People like it. Next up, Clockwork Revolution. This game was really shown off at last year's showcase. They did, like, sort of the big re-reveal. It looks interesting. It looks good. It gives you kind of... I remember it giving, like, Bioshock vibes. At least that sounds right. I don't know. I keep enough show notes. I can see what I said about it last year. It'd be what? Episode 20... Okay, it wasn't episode 23. Not episode 24. Episode 25. All I have written in my notes is that it comes out in due time. In Season 6, Episode 24. Well, fuck. So, yes, I do think, you know, if it happens, I think we'll get an update on it. If it happens this year, good. If it doesn't, no big deal. Again, part of the question is, when is it coming out? Because you don't, you know, you have to come out early enough before GTA. And literally, there is no reason to come out after GTA 6. I hate to say it, but, like, unless you're, you know, literally a diametrically opposed, you know, genre, like, you know, you're doing something like Nintendo, or you're making, like, a puzzle game, there is really no reason to release within, like, a month or two of GTA 6. It really just depends. It really does. But no, I could see us getting some more Clockwork Revolution. I could see us getting Beast of Reincarnation. This is the, you know, the new game by Game Freak. I think someone at Kinda Funny gave the prediction that we could be getting a demo. I like that idea a lot, actually. Getting a demo for Beast of Reincarnation. Because that game comes out in August, so it's not too far away. And yeah, I think a demo makes sense. And finally, Xbox did confirm earlier this week that we will not be getting Project Helix news. that maybe this was where they said the Star Wars Galactic Racer thing, but that, you know, Project Helix will be a next year thing. This showcase is entirely focused on the games. I do think that those 2 controllers that got leaked, we will definitely be seeing about. I do fully suspect that. But outside of that, no, I do not think we're getting, you know, I don't think we're getting any Project Helix, obviously. I mean, they've already said no. I don't know, I do not feel like we need new consoles. We are currently at a point in time in the gaming industry where people cannot afford the current gen consoles, and the next gen consoles are gonna cost $100 to $200 more. I mean, the only reason I would... PlayStation does not need to do this. We do not need the PS6. There are still people who play on fucking PS4. I know the PS5 has sold a lot, but when people literally cannot afford... You know, when the PS5's price keeps going up, people have no incentive to buy a PS6. I do not think we need a PS6. And I would say the same thing for Project Helix. The only reason I wouldn't is that Microsoft, things are going so bad for them and they are so desperate that they basically need their Switch moment where, you know, they can basically reset after the failure that was the Wii U. That the Series X and Series S have gone so bad that they kind of need a reset. And even still, I don't think it's a good idea. If we don't hear about next generation consoles until like 2030, I don't think anyone's going to complain. And that's all I got for Xbox. God, we've already been going for an hour and a half. Holy shit. Alright, so real quick, we're entering the new area. I'm gonna go get some water, maybe go pee, and then we will be right back. So yeah, give me 1 second. Oh my gosh. Alright, I'm back. Alright, here we are. We're back in Rock Candy Mines, or whatever. Ugh. You know, I have not played this world in forever. Because we skipped over it last time. So yeah, it's been a few years since I've even touched this area. Is this... Because I want to say in the original New Super Mario Bros., the lava snake one was in the final world. And I want to say in this game, it's in this world. But I don't think we'll see it because I think it's an optional level. Either way, it's one of the most interesting. It's also one of the more difficult ones. But, like, fuck, man. I mean, what you gonna do? Alright, so, let's talk Nintendo predictions. Here's the thing. Do I think a Nintendo Direct is happening? Most definitely. Do I think it is next week? Or, you know, do I think it's, like... used to be that the Xbox showcases were Monday, and then the Nintendo showcase was Tuesday. Do I think that's, do I think we're getting a Nintendo showcase Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday next week? You know, the, 8th, 9th, or 10th? I mean, fucking anything's possible. I do think it is very unlikely, but also, fucking anything is possible. So, the obvious things is the games that they have currently announced. We've got Star Fox. It comes out in like a month. And so it's showing up, I think, even, again, by that point of the Direct, it'll come out in like 2 weeks. But I still think it would make sense to show there. Maybe show off some of the new content, you know, because it looks like we're getting some new stuff. So, I think that would make sense. I think that's a very obvious one. So yeah, Star Fox, it just makes sense. I think it's a simple one. It's an easy one. Rhythm Heaven Groove comes out, July 2nd? And the last trailer we got for Rhythm Heaven Groove was very simple, very short. It literally only showed off like a single mini game. So I would maybe like a slightly more substantial trailer for Rhythm Heaven Groove. I feel like Nintendo isn't super invested in Rhythm Heaven. I mean, the fact that it's $40 kind of shows that. Again, budget games, budget prices, should be a very logical conclusion. But it's Nintendo. They will send games out to die. And yeah, the fact that we haven't heard more about Rhythm Heaven is a little worrisome. I don't think it's end of the world shit, but I do think it's a little worrisome. So I don't even know what I want from Rhythm Heaven Groove. I've already said I will buy the game, because I made a promise. But outside of that, God, do I even want... do I want to stream that one? Because that's one of those games where it's like, on one hand, I think it'd be funny because I'd be bad at it. But on the other hand, I'd be bad at... I'd be as bad as that guy who played Cuphead for not IGN. That's how, my sense of rhythm was stolen by a trombone mancer. I have no rhythm. Rhythm Heaven is not my game. But I think that'd be funny. But I know how people reacted to the Cuphead guy. I mean, if I just say, I could literally just play the game, suck at it, and then release a highlight reel called Professional Games Journalist Plays Rhythm Heaven Groove, and call it there. Pull some RT game shit again. I used to do that all the time. At least for a little bit. God, whatever. Fucking whatever. Splatoon Raiders comes out at the end of July. I could see us getting a little bit more information, maybe showing off one of the new weapons, new special, new boss, something. I could also obviously see us getting a Splatoon update. Because here's the thing. I want to say the current Splatoon season comes to an end sometime in the next week. And as far as I'm aware, they have not announced the next season. Admittedly, I think that shit's on autopilot nowadays. So yeah, I think the current season ends today. And I don't, like, I'm assuming they've announced the next season, but usually whenever they do a new season, they do, like, even if it's just like a minor balance patch update or something, usually that doesn't happen mid-season. I mean, there usually also is a mid-season patch. Unless, of course, they're just done with the game. Which I don't think they've explicitly said they're done with the game. So us getting a Splatoon 3... I mean, it could always happen next season. Because the next season will probably only go until August. So us getting Splatoon 3 Switch 2 Edition in August would make sense. I think that is a very logical thing to happen next. It's just a question of, will it? And you never know. God damn it. Whatever. What a fucking whatever. So yeah, Splatoon Raiders. Yeah, I'm excited to see more. I'm excited to play the game. We're 2 months away. After that, we have Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. New Fire Emblem, you know, continuation of Three Houses. At least in some way, shape, or form. I don't know. I still need to beat Three Houses, because I never did. I played it, I started it last year, and then I never beat it. I'm bad with Fire Emblem, what can I say? The games stress me out. But I know people are excited for Fortune's Weave. I think it is still possible. I think it is possible it's coming out this year, because I don't think we know anything past August. Or, you know, Nintendo always has their gaps in their lineups. And right when we fill the gaps, all of a sudden that creates new gaps. So while, yes, we know through July, we don't know anything through that. And while I don't think Fire Emblem will come out in August, I could see it in September. Or I guess October. I don't know. We're not getting a Pokemon this year. So that also opens up November. Because out of everyone, normally I would say Pokemon is the one thing that could compete with GTA 6. However, we're not getting a Pokemon this year. So, maybe we're not getting, you know, Nintendo, maybe it's going to be Ocarina of Time. Which I don't think is the best move, but it's the Nintendo move, that's for sure. But Fire Emblem, we'll get some more information, maybe get a release date, or find out it's being pushed till next year, because I think that's what happened with Three Houses. Three Houses was supposed to come out in 2018, and then got pushed until 2019. That sounds right. And the final thing we know about is the Dustbloods. Oh, I still have not gotten to the Backrooms. Oh no, I have been talking about, you know, just Summer Games Fest predictions for almost 2 hours now. I've got a lot to say, you know. I'm a yapper. We're talking Nintendo predictions. You have any Nintendo predictions for the Direct that hasn't happened yet? So yeah, I think we'll also see the Duskbloods. I think we'll also see Elden Ring. Elden Ring can come out at any point. It's a port. It doesn't need to be a big thing. Supposedly, from people, when it originally was shown off, the port was in really rough shape. It's gotten a lot better, allegedly. People played it at, not Gamescom, but one of those game conferences, and supposedly the port's a lot better now. They've really worked on it the past year. So I do think we'll see something from it. And then the Duskbloods, which I do also... That's a September release date for me. The Duskbloods very much feels like a, yep, this is coming out in September. This is our big... You know, Nintendo tries to do a first-party game every month. They mostly succeed, but I feel like the Duskbloods is big enough, especially it basically being second-party, that they can do that instead and call it a day. So I'm going to call Duskbloods for September, but... I mean, it just depends on, you know, how far along is it, if it's even coming out this year. But I think that makes sense. Next up... So the big speculation is on an Ocarina of Time remake. This is something that we've been manifesting for a long time. Nate the Hate says it's happening, but at the same time it looks like Nintendo's putting out information to catch leakers. So could this just be some of the information they put out to try to catch leakers? Also, totally possible. I really, though, do hope the Ocarina of Time remake is happening. There is a part of me that really hopes they're going into, like, depth with it. I don't want to say they're giving it the Tears of the Kingdom treatment. It's more, I really hope they're giving it the Final Fantasy VII remake treatment. I really want them to basically just reimagine Ocarina of Time. Because Ocarina of Time is good. And if they just do a better version of the 3DS version, because the 3DS version fixes all my problems with the original. I think the 3DS version is fantastic. So if they just do the 3DS version, but it looks prettier, I'm not really gonna complain, but I also feel like they have potential to do something truly amazing. It's just a question of, will they? And knowing Nintendo, the answer is usually no. But hey, maybe just this once, it is yes. And they put a lot of love and care into a game that they know people really like. I also wouldn't be mad if they remade any other Zelda game. I've said it in the past that I kind of want a Link to the Past remake. I know people really like Link to the Past. I know it's pretty beloved and whatnot. I think the game needs a remake. I think it's got some issues that just giving it a remake would iron out all that, and it'd make it one of my favorite Zelda games. But that's just me. Another thing I could see coming out, even coming out this year, is Luigi's Mansion 4. Luigi's Mansion 3 came out basically on Halloween. What, 2019, I think? It's been a long time since Luigi's Mansion. I think it's time for another one, Luigi's Mansion 4, and this time it should be set on a cruise ship. Put it on Daisy's cruise ship, have, you know, Daisy's cruise ship is taken over by King Boo, Luigi and Daisy have to team up, you know, no Gooigi in this one, instead the second player is Daisy, and I don't know, go with it from there. I don't really care what they do with it, but I think it would make sense. Luigi's Mansion 4. It's time. I'm ready. I don't know. Listen, I know it's called Luigi's Mansion, but I feel like them going the Aliens route of, hey, the first one has a mansion. The second one has multiple mansions. And then just being like, hey, what other exotic locations can we use? A hotel? Great. A cruise ship? I think would make a lot of sense. What's another weird one that they could do? I'd love a haunted train. Ghost train. Ghost train sounds great. Good old Alan Rails. Next up, I do not think we're getting a new 3D Mario. I don't. However, I guess I should say we're not getting a new 3D Mario this year. I do think one has been in development for a while now, and I do think it's happening next year, not this year. However, while Nintendo very much likes to announce games, usually within 6 months of their release date, a new 3D Mario is the type of game that they could announce a year and a half out, and that would be fine. That would work. It's one of those few things that people would happily wait a year and a half. And the only other franchise they can do that with is Zelda. They could all, you know, if they announced an Ocarina of Time remake, and then announced, hey, Breath of the Wild 3 is coming out, you know, next year, they could also get away with that. Admittedly, I don't think it's going to be Breath of the Wild 3, but you know what I mean. What do I expect from a new 3D Mario? Galaxy 3. All the things, you know, the Galaxy movie this year, while I don't think it has cracked $1 billion yet, it's gotten pretty close. It's still massively successful. And so I could see them finally doing Galaxy 3. I have this whole idea where it's going to be like open world, but it's open world in like the different planets. So basically, Galaxy 3 would be a lot more like Mario 64, Sunshine, and Odyssey than it would be like Galaxy 1 or 2. It would be more like Bowser's Fury. I think that'd be a lot of fun, but I don't know. It might get announced this year. They might save it until next year. They could also do something completely different. You know, maybe Super Mario Titans was real. I doubt it. But who knows? Another thing, though, I could see doing with Mario, and it maybe won't come out this year. Maybe it might be a next year thing. Mario Maker 3. I know some people just want, oh, it's Mario Maker 2 again, but this time it's got the Super Mario Wonder theme. And I know some people would want that, and people would buy it, they'd be happy with it. I'd probably buy it and be happy with it. However, I've been watching a lot of Morph recently, now that he's launched his new channel. I want 3D Mario Maker. I think Nintendo, you know, Nintendo's been doing a lot of work with their whole, hey, let's teach players how to design games. Be that, you know, Labo, Game Builder Garage, the original Mario Maker. I think we are in a position that Nintendo could be, hey, why don't we teach players about 3D game design using Mario Maker 3D? And they could make it in a way that, you know, it helps players learn how 3D Mario works, how to do levels, how to place objects. It's, of course, never going to be... It's going to be a lot more like 64, a lot more, you know, blocky textures and levels and whatnot. It's not going to be like the super refined stuff you get in Odyssey. But I still think 3D Mario Maker is just the next logical step. And it's not boring. I feel like I would much rather just have Mario Maker 2, it gets an update, it gets mouse controls, and, you know, maybe it's a paid DLC that also gets us Mario Wonder. I think they could do that in a paid DLC and call it a day. You know, Super Mario Maker 2 Nintendo Switch 2 edition. And then give us 3D Mario Maker. That's what I want. I don't think I'm alone on that. I know a lot of people want to write it off because it's too complicated. But if they do it in the right way, it won't be too complicated. And then Pokemon Wind and Waves is not coming out this year. That's a next year thing. I know we got that, like, they did that video with, like, the theme song, where it's like, hey, here's the theme song for Pokemon Wind and Waves. Just because that happened, it still looks like Pokemon Wind and Waves is not coming out until, like, November of next year. If it's coming out earlier than that, like, let's say it's coming out in, like, February of next year. February is just an arbitrary date. If that's the truth, then I could see us starting to get Winds and Waves stuff. However, if it's not coming out until November, we're not going to hear anything about that game until Pokemon Day next year. Mark my words. So if it shows up, that means the game is closer to release than I think, but when it doesn't, do not be surprised. And then just a few other things. Third-party stuff. I think Red Dead Redemption 2 is coming to the Switch. I know there was that rumor a while ago that Red Dead Redemption 2 is happening. It makes sense. It is something I am interested in seeing. And yeah, again, Red Dead Redemption 1 is on Switch 2. I'd be down for it. I think that'd be a lot of fun. GTA 5 coming to Switch and Switch 2, I think is also totally possible. It's something that I feel like should have happened years ago, because the Switch in Switch 2 can 100% run GTA 5, and it's kind of weird it never happened up until this point. But people want GTA 6. GTA 6 might one day come to Switch 2, so why not just, announce GTA 5 now, get people excited. I don't think you announced GTA Switch coming to Switch 2 yet, if the rumor is to be believed. But just put GTA 5 out. Fuck it, why not? And then the final thing I just have on here is Satisfactory. Satisfactory came to consoles, I can't remember if it was earlier this year or last year. It came to consoles relatively recently. And I was kind of surprised that, that nobody made a big deal out of it. It came to consoles November 4th of 2025. It came to Xbox and PlayStation. And nobody really made a big deal about it. Like, I feel like nobody in my circle at least even knew it happened. And so, announce it for Switch 2. I mean, Factorio's on Switch in Switch 2. I think it has a Switch 2 edition. Fuck it. Bring Satisfactory. I would much rather support the Satisfactory dev than I would the Factorio dev. That's for certain. Like, fuck, man. Ugh, God. But yeah, just bring I 100% believe the Switch 2 can run Satisfactory. I totally believe that. And I'd love to see it. Same thing with Hydroneer. Hydroneer just came to Let's Game It Out just made a video on it. Either today or yesterday. I watched it today. And he plays the PS5 version. And I was like, why did this not come to Switch 2 as well? It came to Xbox, it came to PlayStation. Where's this on Switch 2? It's definitely a dev kit thing, but yeah. I'm sure there's other third-party stuff. I know Jonathan Blow, is it Jonathan Blow? The guy who did The Witness and Braid actually recently talked about his new game over on Nintendo's channel. And so, I think in a sizzle reel or something that could show up. I don't know, man, fuck Jonathan Blow. He makes great games, but he's such a fucking dickhead. Is he as bad as Phil Fish? Fucking maybe? He might be worse, honestly. Oh, Mugenics? We know literally, I think Edmund McMillan posted a video of Mugenics running on Switch 2. So that is happening eventually. Peak is another one that I could also totally, like, hey, at literally any of these showcases, announcing, hey, here's Peak, it's coming to consoles, and here's the last big biome, the nuclear power plant. Or whatever, whatever's replacing the caldera. So yeah, there's a few predictions. And yeah, I think that's it. That's all the Summer Games Fest predictions I've got. We went for 2 fucking hours. And we've maybe at most got like an hour left in this game. Shit. And we still got an entire rest of the show. I got like 4 news stories, a bunch of WIBE shit. Okay, I'm not gonna speedrun this shit, but I'm gonna try to get through all of it, quicker than I normally would. So with that, let's get to gaming news. I got a few gaming news things. We got an update on Dragon Quest. We got a thing on The Witcher, because we've got some new Witcher stuff coming. We got some stuff on the Steam Deck, because the Steam Deck went up in price, and fuck, man. And then Minecraft Live was yesterday. And so I want to talk about that real quick. So, yeah, those are kind of our 4 big things. Let's just get into it. So the first thing is Dragon Quest. So I had figured that Dragon Quest was just going to be at one of these showcases, because it is Dragon Quest 40th anniversary. But no, instead, this week, Square Enix, the Dragon Quest developers, just decided to do their own little showcase. I think it was only like 15 minutes long. It was pretty short. But during it, yeah, they gave us a lot of updates on Dragon Quest games we know, and telling us about Dragon Quest games we didn't know about, or at least not in the way we think. So, if you remember years ago now, they announced Dragon Quest XII, The Flames of Fate. And people were very excited, you know, it looked like people love Dragon Quest XI. Dragon Quest XI is a great game if you have never played it. I highly recommend it. The Switch version is fantastic. And so, you know, Dragon Quest XII was announced, and we were very excited for it, and that was like 4 years ago. Okay, probably not that long, you know, it's been a while. They announced that, hey, Dragon Quest XI is back, or Dragon Quest XII, but it's no longer called Dragon Quest XII, The Flames of Fate. We have instead changed the title to Dragon Quest XII, Beyond Dreams. And the reason they did this? The game has restarted development. Yep, they have had to shuffle the Dragon Quest team and have had to restart development of Dragon Quest XII. That makes a lot of sense. The fact that we hadn't heard about the game in so long, yeah, that kind of explains everything. It does suck, but you know, if it had to happen, you know, it's better to have happened than to not have happened at all. But yeah, Dragon Quest XII has restarted development, you know, they shuffled the team, new name, and so we're not going to hear anything from Dragon Quest XII for a while. I don't know how long that's going to be. We don't, like, this isn't like Metroid, where they announced Metroid Prime 4 restarted development basically when they decide, like, we knew immediately. Like, they decided that internally and immediately announced it externally. I'd like to think that this is being announced, like, at least a year in. So I'd like to hope they've been working on this for a while, but that means we're still, like, 2 or 3 years off. So I would not expect anything from Dragon Quest XII for a while. But hey, 11 was great. So 12, I'm hopeful. Speaking of 11, they are doing a Switch 2 edition of Dragon Quest XI. It's going to have new optimizations. Specifically, they're going to be adding a performance mode and a graphics mode. So whatever you want, Dragon Quest XI will have, which that's good. You know, new optimizations. I already think the game runs great on Switch. Like, this isn't something they, like, definitively needed. But it's nice to have, regardless. It comes out in September, so it's later this year, so we still got a while to wait. Specifically, September 24th. They did, however, announce that if you're someone like me, who, you know, played the Switch version and wanted to transfer over your save data, you cannot do that. Your saved, kind of like Blotro, your save data from the Switch 1 version will not transfer over to the Switch 2. That sucks. I hate when that happens. I know there are reasons for it, but God, that sucks. And no, I did not see Exodate. Never crossed my path. I heard about it, I heard people really liked it, but I didn't see it. I'm not a horror movie guy. Really, I'm kind of surprised I saw the Backrooms at all, because I'm not a horror movie guy. Like, I have no plans on watching Obsession. Next up, also, last thing with Dragon Quest XI-S, for the Switch 2, it is a game key card. So, even though the first game was a full game, nope, for XI-S, Switch 2, they're doing a game key card. That sucks. That sucks to hear. Listen, I know it's based on a video game. It's still a horror movie at the end of the day. It is a movie with horror in it. I don't watch horror movies. I don't play horror video games. I did actually play Exit 8, but that's because it's not scary. It's like FNAF. It's not really scary. At least not anymore. So yeah, next up, Dragon Quest Monsters, The Withered World. I swear this had been announced before. I don't remember when, I don't remember where. I want to say Dragon Quest The Withered Worlds is like... I don't know why. I watched the Backrooms for the same reason I watched Markiplier's Iron Lung. Just because... Maybe it's I only watch horror movies made by YouTubers and Jordan Peele. Maybe that's it. But yeah, I think, isn't Dragon Quest Monsters Dragon Quest's Pokemon? I know Dragon Quest 8 is also... Dragon Quest 8 is the game that inspired Pokemon. At least I think it's 8. But is that what Dragon Quest Monsters is? Can I be honest? I did not actually watch this showcase. I only read about this through, you know, a series of tweets by Wario64. And I don't remember exactly what Dragon Quest Monsters is, but I want to say it's like Dragon Quest Pokemon. It's coming to PS5, Xbox, Switch, and PC. Switch 2, I think. But yeah, that's cool. And finally, they revealed that Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3, the HD 2D remakes, sold 4 million copies. Admittedly, most of those are in Japan. But yeah, 4 million copies is nothing to sneeze at. Play this doesn't look or sound interesting. I would recommend Dragon Quest XI's. If you can find it on sale, it is pretty good. It is one of those 100-hour RPGs, but it's one of the better 100-hour RPGs. There's a reason why that was the one they brought to Smash Bros. Because it's a really good one. It's one of the only 100-hour RPGs I've actually played. Well, to each their own. If you're ever interested in experimenting with new genres, there's a good one. There's a good one to experiment with. And yeah, that's Dragon Quest. You know, I'm more out of everything. The one I'm most interested in is Dragon Quest 12. Again, it's gonna be a while, but hey, you know, 40 years, super popular series. It'll happen when it happens. And it's one of those things where it's like, I don't even know if I'll pick it up when it comes out. Because I waited on 11 until the Switch 2 version. And yeah. And I did not 100% it. Oh my god. I'm surprised they didn't announce any other remakes. Because I feel like... I mean, I know we just got... I want to say 7 remake, like earlier this year or... late last... I want to say it was earlier this year we got 7 remake. But it seems like they're kind of, you know, they've remade 1, 2, and 3. They remade 7. I think it'd be time to do, like, 8 or... maybe even 9. I'd like a 9. 9 is the only other one I played. Dragon Quest 9. That one I also really like. So next up, we got The Witcher. So I have not played The Witcher. I think I own it on both PlayStation and Switch. Because at one point the Switch 2 version, I want to say they put it on, no, maybe I'm thinking of something else. I'm thinking of Cyberpunk, aren't I? Where they put it on sale for like $10 on accident. Yeah, The Witcher 3 I do own. It is one of those games that I do want to play. You know, I've watched the Joseph Anderson videos on the first 2 games. I'm patiently waiting on that video for the 3rd game. That I'm going to guess is going to take another 3 years. Especially now that there's going to be a new DLC. Because that was the big announcement. That we're getting a Witcher 3 DLC called Songs of the Past. This will be the third major expansion after Blood and Wine, which Blood and Wine is such a big expansion, it's basically its own game. Kind of like Cyberpunk Liberty or Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree. It's an expansion so big, people count it as its own thing. And, you know, at some point I will play those. And yeah, so this is a new expansion. It is made by CD Projekt Red, but they're also working on The Witcher 4. So it is co-developed by Fool's Theory. Who are Fool's Theories as a developer? I have no idea. Fool's Theory, they worked on The Thermitage, and they worked on 7 The Days Long Gone. I maybe have heard of The Thermitage. It came out like 2 years ago. But hey, they're doing, you know, this had been a rumor for a while now. There have been rumors that we were getting this. And here it is. It's finally happening. So yeah, Witcher DLC. We'll get more details later this year. Maybe at Summer Games Fest. I don't know. It's also completely possible that we get nothing at Summer Games Fest, and that's why they announced this now, so we won't go into Summer Games Fest expecting things. But you never know with these things. I wouldn't get my hopes up, though. And that's literally it. We got no other details than that. We do, however, know it's coming to PS5, Xbox, and PC. Even though there is a Switch version of The Witcher 3, it looks like, at this moment, it will not be getting this DLC. Now, I do wonder, call this a little bit of speculation. What if The Witcher 3 is going to be getting a Switch 2 edition? You know, Cyberpunk runs great on Switch 2. I have no doubt that The Witcher 3 will also run great on Switch 2, because it runs fine on OG Switch. So I do think that we are going to be getting a Switch 2 version of The Witcher, and maybe this DLC will come to that. Maybe not at launch, maybe it'll be a later on thing, but I do think it would happen eventually. I don't think they're randomly going to drop the Direct, but we're at least going to have like 48-hour notice. So maybe they'll announce it on a Tuesday, and it'll happen on like a Thursday. It's going to be something like that. But yeah, it's just, that's my theory right now, is the reason why this isn't coming to Switch is because there's going to be a Switch 2 edition, and it's only going to be on the Switch 2 edition. I think that would make sense. And honestly, if they do the upgrade path, I'd be totally down for Witcher 3 on Switch 2. I think that'd be great. It's Nintendo. Listen, Nintendo is in a great position right now. Every other platform, as we're going to talk about in a second, has raised the price of their consoles. Nintendo, meanwhile, yes, they did raise their price, but they only raised it by $50. Meanwhile, every other developer has raised their price by, what, like $100 to $300? You know, the Nintendo games are getting reviewed very well, Ryan. They literally had the Nintendo has the highest reviewed game of the year until, like, Thursday of this week. Of last week, I guess. Nintendo had the highest reviewed game of the year. They're in a great position right now. Admittedly, part of that is because everybody is in a much worse position. You need to stop if you only listen to the grifters will tell you that Nintendo is in a terrible position. They're not. They're in a great position. Things are going great for Nintendo. But if you only have people in your ear telling you that they're doing bad, you're only going to think they're doing bad. No, they're in a great spot. Admittedly, it could be a lot better, definitely. In theory, they shouldn't have to raise their prices at all. But they're giving us until September. Valve just all of a sudden decided to raise their prices. You know, they literally didn't even tell us they were doing it. All of a sudden, one day, people just looked on Steam and saw the Steam Deck had gone up by $300. No, Nintendo's in a great position. Could be better, but it also could be literally every other developer that's shooting themselves in the face. And yes, I did play the new Lego Batman. It's great. As someone who loved the classic Arkham games, I don't even have it in the show notes this week, but it's great. I'd recommend it. I've had a lot of fun. I don't know how it runs on Switch, but on PS5, it runs great. Okay, so speaking of Steam Deck, people, earlier this week, all of a sudden people go on Steam and see, hey, guess what? The price of the Steam Deck has increased. The 512 gigabyte Steam Deck has gone up for $240. It used to cost $549. Now it costs, or I guess let's just say $550. I'm just going to round everything. The 512 gigabyte Steam Deck OLED used to cost $550. Now it costs $790. A $240 increase. Meanwhile, the 1 terabyte Steam Deck OLED used to cost $650. Now it costs $949. $950. That fucking sucks. That just shows you how bad things are because of these fucking AI data centers and all these AI manufacturers. It fucking sucks right now. And all these prices are going up, and it's awful. Now, when this happened, the Steam Decks were out of stock. Then, a little while later, like half an hour later, they went up. You were able to buy them, and then that was it. Like, they immediately sold out. So people, theoretically, somebody, unless it was like an error on Valve's thing, paid $950 for a 1 terabyte Steam Deck OLED. Which is fucking crazy. That's more expensive than the PS5 Pro, which is a ridiculous $900. And yet we're supposed to be moving over to the PS6 next year. You know, we're supposed to be going over to the PS6, which is gonna cost, what, $1,000? The Steam Machine, you know, the big thing that Valve was toting, that was gonna be the savior of gaming, or whatever bullshit people were saying, that's gonna cost $1,000 minimum. It, like, based on the specs, it looks like, compared to all the consoles, it's going to be the most powerful thing on the market. It's going to cost $1,000, potentially up to, I don't think it's going to go higher than $1,200. If I had to guess, it's basically going to be the price of like a cheap built PC. It's going to be $1,200. Yeah, exactly. That's the problem people are having. Is that at this there are still benefits to PC, or to consoles, I mean. You know, there are still benefits, because guess what? All these price increases that are happening to consoles are also happening to PC. RAM is going up, memory is going up, storage is going up. I don't think graphics cards are as bad as they used to be, but back during like the NFT thing, getting a graphics card was awful. Everything fucking sucks right now just because some billionaires want to be trillionaires building their fucking AI data centers. Not that RAM, it may have gone down a little bit, but it did not go down that much. Compared to where it was like a year ago, even just a year ago, it's fucking quadrupled in price. It's awful. Everything in technology is awful. And there's this whole rumor right now that Microsoft is going to be announcing virtual PCs in the next like month or two at this like showcase. I don't know, because there's this big tech showcase going on in, I want to say, Taiwan. But still, the whole industry fucking sucks right now. Okay, so a virtual PC is basically these companies don't want you to own a computer anymore, and instead you're basically, a virtual PC is you renting a computer over the cloud. So it's like a cloud computer that you just, you know, you have like a little device that hooks up to the cloud, and then you're accessing a computer in another part of the country or another part of the world. Oh, it's super fucking dystopian. it sucks. We live in hell. And in these data centers that they're building, they want to eat all the water and all the power in the world. And yeah, we live in hell. We live in fucking hell. And gaming, and people are being priced out of gaming. You know, I'm not going to say gaming was a cheap hobby by any means, but now it's just getting too expensive. It's getting too expensive. In the Steam Deck, which, you know, I'm not going to say it was the cheapest thing in the world, but you know, $550, that's not a terrible price. For an OLED system, I mean, yeah, that's like $250, let's just say $200 more than a Switch. But that's still pretty good. And, you know, it's a system that was basically on par with the Switch 2. And yeah. That's also happening as well. But yes, AI data centers are literally lying. Like that one in Utah are literally just lying to people. And like Utah is in a drought right now. And yet these AI data centers want to use up all their drinkable water. Like we can't even use fucking ocean water. No, they want to use all the drinkable water. And then the billionaires are going to go fly off to their private islands in Hawaii, or I think Peter Thiel went to Argentina or whatever the fuck. Man, everything fucking sucks. And God, don't even get me started about the orange boy. But yeah, so with the Steam machine, this sucks. These price increases are terrible. And this is not a good sign for the Steam machine. I was really hopeful for the Steam machine. When it was announced last year, I was like, oh, this is going to be great. You know, we're getting a controller that seems really cool. I think they don't use ocean water. I want to say it has something to do with the salt, or it's some bullshit. I don't remember all the details, but it's some bullshit. And plus, even if they did use ocean water, they would still be polluting the oceans. Not that we aren't currently polluting the oceans, but it would just get a lot worse. So yeah, the Steam machine, you know, this was supposed to be this great thing, and then AI fucking ruined it. And you know what else I will say? Final thing I'll say about this is, at least the difference between Valve and Nintendo, and Sony and PlayStation, or Xbox and PlayStation, I mean, is that while all four of these, you know, people are being affected by it, these companies, at the end of the day, Microsoft and Sony are part of the problem. They're the ones who are investing money into these AIs, into these data centers. They're part of the problem. Meanwhile, Valve and Nintendo aren't. They're just facing the consequences. However, and you know, Sony will come out and be like, oh, well, you know, we have to change, you know, we have to increase the cost of our console because of changes in the market. Bitch, your changes in the market. You're investing money in AI. There's another reason why Nintendo and Valve are in better positions. They're not putting any money into AI. I'm gonna guess 400 years for nature to take it back. I don't know. It depends on how big of a boom we go out with. You know, whether it's Planet of the Apes or There Will Come Soft Rains. Alright, and then our final story for the new segment, because, you know, we're almost in the last world, we're running out of time here, is Minecon. Our Minecraft Live was this weekend. It was at TwitchCon. This was the first time they've done a Minecraft show live in years. So they talked about the new update, Chaos Cubed. They talked about, you know, Sulfur Cube, Sulfur Biome, Geysers, how the TNT Sulfur Cubes was originally a fan request, but they really like it, and they're really happy with how it's implemented. And yeah, I've seen some people do some cool stuff with the Sulfur Cubes. From there, they talked about the release date, finally, and it comes out June 16th. So it's a little more than 2 weeks away. Next up, they talked about Minecraft Dungeons 2 real quick. They showed off some concept art. Again, we're going to find out more at the Xbox Showcase next week. And then they showed off a new mob, the Twisted Warden, who is this, you know, it's like the Warden, but it's bigger, and it's got like these giant teeth. It was actually leaked in a Lego set, of all things. This is the second Minecraft Dungeons leak. Again, the first one came from, what, a Hallmark ornament, and now this one comes from a Lego set. That's funny. But yeah, I mean, I like the Warden. I've said it before, the Warden is my favorite Minecraft mob. I love the design, I love the gimmick. And the Twisted Warden is just that, but bigger. It's not as good as the original Warden, but what you gonna do? From there, they talked about the TwitchCon exhibit they're running. There's a special TwitchCon cape that you can get. There's a TikTok one. So they have all that. From there, they talked about the Minecraft... let's talk about this first. They talked about some Bedrock add-ons. Specifically, they're doing chicken mounts. So there's this new Bedrock add-on where you can mount chickens and do all that stuff. It's what, you know, it's a Bedrock add-on. I don't know anybody who has ever used the Bedrock add-on. And then they talked about how they're also doing a speedrunning add-on for people who want to do speedrunning on Bedrock Edition. That's going to be a thing. Yeah, no, I've never TwitchConned, and I never will TwitchCon. I have zero interest. From there, they talked about the Minecraft movie. So originally, it was called a Minecraft movie sequel. The movie has since been renamed to a Minecraft movie squared. You get it? You know, Minecraft uses squares and blocks. Squared also means two. Ha ha ha. Very funny. I think it's a fine name change. That also tells us that the third one, assuming the second one isn't just, you know... Here's the worry about the second Minecraft movie, is that the first Minecraft movie did really well because it was a meme. However, studio executives never learn their lesson, so while the first Minecraft movie was a meme, ironically, the second one they're going to try to turn into a meme unironically. And you can't turn something into a meme unironically. That's how you get fucking Hillary Clinton's election campaign. So I'm worried. I think there is a potential that they're going to lead so hard into the whole chicken jockey, you know, Steve's Lava Chicken bullshit, and it's gonna fucking suck. I mean, the first movie already was not good, but it's gonna be so, like, cringe that it's not only is it not funny, but it becomes unwatchable. That is my big worry. But I think the name change is fine. The second one's going to be called Squared. Third one will be called Minecraft Movie Cubed. All right, funny. From there, they talked a little bit about it. We got to see some behind-the-scenes footage. Hey, guess what? YouTubers are still consulting on the movie. We got to find out about some of the new characters. Specifically, Alex, who my original thought was that Alex was going to be played by Kate McKinnon. No, Alex is going to be played by Kirsten Dunst. You know, Mary Jane from the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. Yeah, the Mary Jane from the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies is going to be Alex. Honestly, I don't hate it. She even, I guess, said in an interview that, yeah, but they hadn't casted her yet. They even said in an interview that, like, her past few movies have bombed at the box office, so this is her, like, hey, you know, I want to be in a movie that makes a lot of money. Which, you know what? I respect the grind. So I think she's a fine casting. The other casting we find out is Matt Berry, who voices the nitwit villager in the first movie. He's going to be, because he was originally cast as Steve until they replaced him with Jack Black. Well, he's going to have a more significant role. It looks like he's going to be playing Stevan, who seemingly looks like to be Herobrine. It looks like we're doing Herobrine in the second one, or at least like Evil Steve, who may not be called Herobrine, but is clearly just an homage to Herobrine. I kind of just wish they would use Herobrine, but I think part of it is that Mojang doesn't technically own the rights to Herobrine. Yes, but also no. With Herobrine in the first movie. Yes, but also no. But no, my thing is, if you would ask me what do you do for the second Minecraft movie, I would say the Ender Dragon. But it kind of looks like we're not doing the Ender Dragon. Instead, it kind of seems like we're doing Herobrine, which, hey, you know what? If they do the Wither, I'm okay with that. The first movie's about the Nether, second movie is Herobrine and the Wither, and then the third movie is the Ender Dragon. I'd be okay with that. But we'll just have to see. I don't know, the first movie was not good. If the FNAF movies have taught me anything, the second one is not going to magically become good. Let's not worry about... Listen, you can bring the dragon back. You know, that's a thing. The Wither... I think the Wither Storm is boring. Honestly, like, yeah, I'd be fine if they did it. But just do the Bedrock Wither. Don't do the fucking Java Wither, that sucks. Do the Bedrock Wither. That scares me way more than the Ender Dragon. And then the Minecraft movie sequel release date is July 23rd, 2027. So it's about a year. From there, oh, they also announced that they're going to be doing a building challenge. So they've set up this whole contest. And you can go in and they give you this plot of land and you can build something. And there's a chance that it'll either be featured in the movie or in the movie credits. So hey, if you want to do that, well, you can go do that right now. It makes sense. From there, Agnes talked about, like, their long-term vision for Minecraft. And she says that one day, Mojang will want to pass down Minecraft to another developer. Not this year, not next year, maybe not for another decade. But one day, they're thinking about that they might pass Minecraft to another developer. Which, listen, Minecraft's already become a live service. It makes sense. You just got to give it to somebody good. But they said that for the moment, they're going to keep working on the game for the next few years, and they want to focus on exploration and adventure. Which lines up with the fact that basically every new update just adds a new biome, and they keep doing shit from map makers, you know, because that's what Chaos Cubed is. I mean, it's a new biome, and then a new mob that people can, like map makers can use. Because that's every new update. Guess what? Last week when we sat down, my predictions for the next update were a new biome and a new mob. We've got our new biome, so they did reveal Game Drop 3. It'll come out later this fall, and it's fall themed. So we're getting a new biome, the Dappled Forest, which has new poplar trees. I actually like... Listen, I want an end update. I want the baby mob update. I will agree. I thought the baby mob update was kind of boring. Like, it was cute, but it had no real substance. It was all surface level. Chaos Cubed is okay. I like the geysers. That's fun. But I like these new blocks. I like the fall aesthetics. I want them to lean into it. So yeah, these new poplar trees, they have red, yellow, and orange leaves. I think it looks very nice. Aesthetically, I think it's really cool. You know, we've got orange grass, we've got mushrooms, including a new mushroom. It looks like we're going to be getting a new shelf mushroom that, according to some people who were there at the con, it looks like it's going to be bouncy. You know, kind of like the mushrooms in Peak. I think that's cool. That makes sense. I think the new mobs are fine. Like, design-wise, they're fine. Yes, I do like the old mobs, but I also do like the new baby chick. I think that's cute. I don't know. Mojang is very clearly changing things in the game, because there's a part of Mojang that wants to go in and change the game. But there's also a part that's afraid to make any major changes, or else alienate people who play the old Minecraft. That's why we haven't gotten a new dimension. That's why we haven't gotten the end update. Because they don't want to scare people away by making too many major changes. That, you know, oh, well, this doesn't feel like Minecraft anymore. I think that's bullshit, But that's how Mojang feels. That's the whole reason why they've redesigned every mob but the Creeper. Because even though Mojang clearly wants to redesign the Creeper, they're too scared to do it because they know people will get mad at them. That's it. That's exactly why. But no, I think all these trees look great. I do wonder, are we going to finally get the winter trees? Because I think this is still a thing in Bedrock Edition. Maybe it was only just in the Legacy Console Editions. But it used to be when it snowed, spruce and oak trees used to get white leaves. Like, they used to get snow-covered leaves. I would love to see that come back. And maybe make it like a new type of leaf, so that way we can get all the different seasonal colors. That'd be kind of cool. Well, and the other thing with the Creeper is Mojang has admitted that the way they design the game nowadays, they would never have added the Creeper to the game. Like, just the design philosophy for Minecraft has changed so much that modern day Minecraft would never have a Creeper in it. Which, I get why they're saying it, but I do like the Creeper. I get, you know, it's a good designed mob, but it doesn't fit their modern day, like, oh, you know, this is a game that anyone can play. We don't want something blowing up your creations. This is baby game, you know? Let's see, what else? The new poplar wood is this, like, gray color. When I first saw it, it looked white, but then you see it next to the pale wood, and no, you can tell it's gray. I think it looks nice. I love when they add new wood colors. I know it's a little thing, it's not a big thing, but I do like whenever they add new wood colors. The Sulfur Cube update was pointless. Like, yeah, they make a new mini-game, new fly. I know, listen, it might never happen. You're just gonna have to live with it. You just gotta play the game for what it's got, go play some mods, if you want the end update. I hate to say it, but that's just Mojang's design philosophy just doesn't have an end update in it. It also sadly doesn't have a new dimension, even though it looked like it looked like they were building up a new dimension for years. Clearly now they're just putting it in Minecraft Dungeons 2 and calling it a day, which fucking sucks. I ain't living with it, there's mods. That's what I said, just go play mods instead. From there, other things we got, there's a new abandoned campsite structure. I do, a feature that we talk about, sulfur cubes being pointless, baby mobs being pointless. I legitimately do think the most pointless feature is the archaeology stuff. I don't know anybody who has used the archaeology update, ever. Like, I did it when the update came out, but outside of that, I have never seen anybody do anything with the archaeology. So, like, fuck it, put some archaeology stuff in this new campsite. Nobody will use the feature still, but hey, at least you did something. I've never seen anybody get a sniffer. Ever. Like, if the sniffer was more available, I feel like we'd see them more, but the fact that you have to go to warm oceans and, get them through... Did I say architecture? I meant archaeology. The fact that you have to use the brush to get the sniffer, I've never seen anybody get a sniffer. I did it for the achievement, and that's it. They are so fucking pointless, and it sucks. Because I don't hate the mob. Yeah. And then let's see. So yeah, these new campsites, one of the big changes they're making is new wool stairs. So we're getting wool stairs and wool slabs. It's something people have wanted. Why not? Sure, that adds, 16 times 2 mini blocks to the game, but it's fine. It's something people wanted. I'm cool with it. People will do great things with it. It does nothing and drops nothing good. I actually like the flowers. The 2 flowers the sniffer gets, I actually do aesthetically like them. It's just I don't like them enough to go out of my way to get them. I also don't like that the torch bloom doesn't give off light. Like, I understand in real life torch blooms don't give off light, but, like, it's a fucking video game. Just make it give off light. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Other things in the update, I mentioned the shelf mushrooms, but we're also getting hay beds. So there'll be this new bed that you can craft. It's specifically designed for the early game, where it's a bed that you can, like, place down. It's stacked, so you can stack 16 of them. It's a one-time use, and it just skips through the night. It doesn't reset your spawn point or anything. It just quickly skips through the night. And you know what? I don't hate it. Because this means that, you know, you could go off adventuring, and instead of, you know, bringing a bed with you and then having to reset your spawn point every time, and then you break the bed, you can just bring these hay beds. They allow you to skip through the night, and your spawn point will still be back at your base or whatever. It's not a huge feature, but I think it makes sense. The crafting recipe is very expensive right now. It's like 3 blocks of 3 blocks of hay. I think that's too much, but they'll balance it out. And then, yeah, my other thing is, so we've got this new biome. What's the new mob? I saw some people suggest turnips or termites. I know termites originally were going to be like a desert thing, but like, fuck it. Put them in this, you know, you got this new forest biome. Maybe there's termites there. That makes sense. The other thing I liked is a porcupine. It's a porcupine. You can use the brush on it, kind of like you do the armadillo, and it gives you porcupine spikes that maybe you could like make like a spiky shield or something. I don't know. They could do something with it. Maybe, you know, there have been plenty of mods that have, like, iron spikes. Just make porcupine spikes a thing. It's, you know, a neutral mob. It only attacks you if you attack it. I think that'd be fine. So, yeah, there's my ideas. But, yeah, assuming there is a new achievement, because I know I didn't do an achievement hunt for the most recent update, the Tiny Takeover, but assuming there is a new achievement in Sulfur Cubed, we will be playing Sulfur Cubed. I might just do it anyways, just because I kind of want to play it. But I think there's going to be a new achievement that's like, oh, place a block, you know, place a specific block inside a Sulfur Cube. Termites can hide in wood blocks and destroy them, so you gotta keep replacing them. Unless you make a splash potion of raid. I mean, I maybe wouldn't go that far, because, again, Mojang doesn't like griefing. But I could see it being something like that. So yeah, those are all my news things. I said I was going to talk about it real quick, and we went on for about 45 minutes. Fucking what else is new? Alright, we got, for WIBE, we got a food thing, we got a video game, we got a Rick and Morty episode, and then we've got the Backrooms. So let's do that in probably that order, maybe not. I don't know, I figured we would have more time. We are like 2 levels away from beating this game. What the fuck else am I gonna do tonight? Because I was kind of hoping, you know, we'd be done, and I'd be in the miscellaneous stuff by the time we got here. Fuck. Okay, so the first one is Jack in the Box. Jack in the Box, they ain't shit anymore. They used to be the cheap place, now they're not. But one of the things that they used to do is they used to have this munchie meal. And it was $6, and it got you one of these weird burgers or chicken sandwiches. It got you a drink, a bunch of fries, and 2 tacos. For $6, it was an amazing deal. Not the highest quality of food, but I didn't need it to be. It was cheap, it was easy. Nowadays, that same meal costs like $14. Kind of like Taco Bell, Jack in the Box has just gone up in price, and the quality has not gotten any better. It sucks. Oh yeah, we talked about it like a few months ago. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we definitely talked about Popeyes. So, the big thing Jack in the Box did is they're doing a Hot Ones collaboration. It's on my radar. I'll say that. I've seen the Supergirl thing. It's on my radar. The next thing, though, I want to try is the Whataburger. They're doing a hot honey chicken sandwich. I do like me some hot honey, so I'm down for that. And that comes out on, I think, Tuesday. But yeah, so they're doing a Hot Ones collab, so this whole thing is about, like, spicy items. So they brought back the Sriracha Curly Fry Burger and the Buffalo Chicken and Tater Melt. So the Sriracha Curly Fry Burger tastes exactly like how I remember it. It's a burger, it's got curly fries on it, and it's got Sriracha sauce. It's decent. The one change they've made to it is they added jalapenos to it. They added jalapenos to the Curly Fry Burger. I don't think... Whataburger? You Central Texas people are weird. Unlike us Western Texas people. But, okay, as I was saying, the one change they made to the Sriracha Curly Fry Burger is they added, jalapenos. I actually don't really care for the jalapenos on it. I don't feel like it added that much. They're not really that spicy. The burger's not spicy to begin with. But other than that, I like the Sriracha Curly Fry Burger. This is the exact same thing. It's still pretty good. The Buffalo Chicken and Tater Melt is the one that got the bigger change. They also added jalapenos to it, which it's fine, whatever. But they added buffalo sauce. Now, I don't actually really care for buffalo sauce. I'm more of a barbecue sauce person than I am a buffalo sauce person. But the buffalo sauce was not that strong. I didn't really feel like it changed things that much. So I'm not really, like, upset with it or anything. So yeah, it was fine. Like, I definitely like the Sriracha Burger more, but the Chicken and Tater Melt's okay. It's weird, because I was reading the ingredients. It doesn't have Swiss cheese. It has Swiss-style cheese. Okay. But yeah, if you like the Buffalo Chicken and Tater Melt back in the day, it's the same shit. They also added, they brought back the sauced and loaded fries. This time there's a Sriracha sauced and loaded and a Buffalo sauced and loaded. I'll be honest, I normally really like the Jack in the Box sauced and loaded fries, because usually they're curly fries, which are already seasoned. But they have bacon, they have cheese, they have ranch. These ones just have cheese and either Sriracha or buffalo sauce. They're not that spicy. I don't go out of my way to get Sriracha, but no, I don't think it's really that spicy. It's got a little heat, but nothing major. But yeah, these Sriracha and buffalo fries, I would not recommend. If they had bacon and maybe something else with them, they'd probably be better. They didn't even put jalapenos on it. Normally when they do spicy fries, they put jalapenos and call it a day. They didn't even do that. So I would not recommend the sauce and loaded curly fries. And then the other thing is, Cholula I do really like. Cholula's great. The other thing is, The Last Dab. If you know anything about Hot Ones, I don't. The Last Dab Apollo is like their big famous sauce, and they're doing Last Dab packets. So hey, normally a bottle of Last Dab, according to something I read online, costs like $30. If you want to get a bunch of cheap packets, Jack in the Box is selling them for like $1.50. That's not amazing, but compared to the other thing, that's not terrible. So yeah. I'll be honest, I didn't even try it. I didn't even think about it. I'd go back and get the Sriracha Curly Fry Burger, but outside of that, I wouldn't get anything else. I will not be streaming tomorrow, but I will not be streaming on June 1st, but I will be streaming on June 2nd. It is the PlayStation State of Play showcase. So yes, I will be here on June 2nd at whatever time that is. So yes, I will be back for that. The PlayStation showcase is at, what is that, 4 p.m. Central? So yeah, I'll be back for that. I might have gotten the time zones wrong. Again, Texas time. And then, of course, the other thing with Jack in the Box is they also did a bunch of other, like, they put a bunch of sauces on their other burgers, so you can get, like, a Jumbo Jack or a chicken sandwich with, you know, sriracha or buffalo or the Last Dab. If you're interested in any of that, I didn't even try those. They weren't even worth it. But yeah, the curly fry burger was good. I'd recommend it. Did we get a checkpoint? No, we didn't. Shit. There are no checkpoints in this game. Alright, so the next thing we got is Mina the Hollower. So I've been playing Mina the Hollower. If you have not been keeping track, this is the new game by Yacht Club Games, developer of Shovel Knight. They kickstarted this game back in, what, like 2019? We've been waiting on it for a long time. It was originally supposed to come out on Halloween last year, and then it got delayed until this year. And finally, it's out, and it is currently the best reviewed game of the year. And yeah, it kind of has earned it. I'm admittedly only like 4 hours in. I have not put too much time into it. I've only done, you know, I don't think I'm not at the second dungeon yet. I'm close though. But I've done the first dungeon. I've gone through all the opening stuff. I did play the demo when that came out last year. And I did, instead of just continuing where I left off in the demo, I did restart the game. And that's what I recommend you do as well. Just, you know, that demo came out so long ago. Just restart the game. And yes, I would highly, highly recommend Mina the Hollower. It is a Zelda-like, you know, akin to Link's Awakening, the best 2D Zelda game. But it's good. It's good, the animations are beautiful. Again, it's doing a Link's Awakening Game Boy style, but it does it beautifully. It is difficult. Admittedly, you know, it's one of those games where it's difficult the first time you play it, but by the second playthrough it's a lot easier because you know all the enemies' attack patterns and whatnot. But god, those first playthroughs, that's hard. But so far, I'm really enjoying it. I have my sneaking suspicions about what's going on, because, you know, Mina... So basically the plot is that Mina has been summoned to this island of Ossex, because their power generators that she invented are on the fritz. And there's this one guy who's like the former captain of the guard, who used to be this loyal servant, but recently he's like turned evil and started vandalizing things. And I have the sneaking suspicion that, because he talks about how the power generators are destroying the island. I have the suspicion that he's right. That unbeknownst to Mina, these power generators are actually destroying the island. And she just doesn't know it yet. But, you know, from there, the one change I did do between the original and the demo is in the original, I used the whip. You know, it's the one on the cover. I was like, yeah, let's use the whip. That's the expected weapon. For this playthrough, I'm using the daggers. I like the daggers so much more. If you want that more traditional Zelda experience, I know it doesn't seem like that big of a change, but trust me, it is. I would recommend the daggers. But so far, I am enjoying it. It's got a lot of that Yacht Club charm. It is, as a Zelda-like, it is not a perfect Zelda-like. The first dungeon, for example, is a gauntlet dungeon. It's entirely linear. There isn't a map in the game, at least not yet from what I've heard. But, you know, the things that make Zelda dungeons interesting, this game, at least at the moment, doesn't seem to have. That may change later depending on upgrades and trinkets and whatnot. But at least for the moment, it's all very simple. I'm really enjoying the game. I don't need every Zelda-like to just be one-for-one Zelda. They're allowed to change things up. If Mina the Hollower doesn't want to do traditional Zelda dungeons, because it instead wants to lean into the difficulty of the game, more akin to something like, you know, Dark Souls or Bloodborne, then it is allowed to do so. It is difficult, it definitely is, but for me, it has not, as someone who cannot play Dark Souls because I'm not that good, I've still found Mina the Hollower to be very, you know, approachable. It does, however, have a lot of accessibility settings. I know there are some people who are mad at those accessibility settings. Like, I don't want to say the game is getting review bombed, but, you know, those certain gun and ball gamers who don't like, you know, people who need accessibility settings to play games, because they assume everyone is like them, and if a feature is added to the game that doesn't appeal to them, the feature just shouldn't be added, because they are... What's the disable phobic? What is... They are... Ableist? Is ableist the word I'm looking for? Yeah, let's use the word ableist. Because, yeah, the idea that people, you know, need certain accessibility features that they don't need, and so as a result, they think a feature shouldn't be added to the game. It's fucking bullshit. No, I love the amount of accessibility features Yacht Club Games puts in their games. And this game is great at it. So, yes, I think my mother would be able to play this game. Admittedly, she's done, you know, she beat Tears of the Kingdom. She's, you know, she's never played a Dark Souls, despite my brothers joking that she should. Because I don't play Dark Souls. They do. But, you know, it could happen. But yeah, I'm really enjoying Mina the Hollower. I would highly recommend it. I have not beaten it. It has made me kind of want to replay Shovel Knight, because there is a certain Yacht Club aesthetic. Shovel Knight and Mina both have that sort of, like, style. Even though, again, visually this game is different from their other one. But it's good. It is really good so far. The fact that it is the highest rated game of the year does make me hopeful that a lot of people are going to play it. It's the best-selling game on the eShop as this week, which the best-selling game on the eShop is usually a Nintendo game. It is very rarely something else. So the fact that Mina is a big deal. So I'm very excited for that. I hope, because this is make or break for Yacht Club. If this game doesn't sell well enough, they are in a bad position, because they put everything into this. But so far it looks like it's doing well, it's getting reviewed well. Of course, those people came out of the woodworks, you know, those anti-IGN people, who the moment they saw IGN gave it a 10 out of 10, they were like, oh, well, this must mean the game is bad. Because we live in fucking hell, and people have no idea how to review games anymore. Or at least to critique people who review games. It's a lot of whataboutisms. It fucking sucks. But I recommend the game. You should go play it. It is more than worth your time. Whether you like or don't like 2D Zelda, I don't think it's that big of a deal. If you like Hollow Knight, Silksong, or Dark Souls, you 100% should play this. Especially if you like Bloodborne. Like, yeah, you're a rat in a world with human and animal creatures. But I don't think that's a deal breaker. Alright, let's talk Rick and Morty real quick. Rick and Morty is back, Season 9. I feel like, you know, well, yes, Rick and Morty sucked for a while. You know, they got too obsessed with fetish stuff and incest babies, and fucking nobody cared. But in recent years, they kinda, I don't want to say stopped giving a shit, but their priorities changed, and as a result, they've been able to do some good classic Rick and Morty episodes, and the Season 9 premiere is actually, I think, a great example of this. So this whole episode is we find out that Rick has been hanging out with Evil Morty. That even though Evil Morty's whole shit is that, you know, he escaped the central finite curve, he was done with everyone's shit, and now he was gonna fuck off. No, it turns out he can't fuck off. That deep down, Evil Morty is still a Morty. he likes going on adventures with Rick. Sure, the power dynamic has changed. You know, it's more that he's in charge while Rick is his bitch, and it's more that they're like intellectual equals, but it's still a very similar scenario. And so the whole plot is that they're going on an adventure to stop the Collective, which is this AI thing voiced by Tilda Swinton. I think it's Tilda Swinton. And eventually, you know, Morty also tags along, and afterwards, you know, they make the comment that, oh, you know, is Morty jealous of evil Morty? Oh, you know, he's trying to steal his grandpa. And then Rick and Morty leave, only for evil Morty to go back to his base and find out that while, you know, Morty and evil Morty were doing like a dick measuring contest and Rick was in the bathroom, Rick wasn't in the bathroom and instead destroyed the Omega device, the one piece of leverage evil Morty had on Rick. And then from there, they go to the bunker dimension, which I thought was fucking hilarious. The bunker dimension, bunker gene, it's all really funny. We then get a fight scene between evil Morty and Rick. All the fight scenes in this episode are great. Like, they put a lot of budget into the animation. Both this end fight in the fight with the Collective, and it shows. So the fight scenes are both really good. The ending fight, in the end, you know, evil Morty is about to lose, and he freezes time. But as it turns out, Rick had planned for that, and he had called the time police, you know, the ballsack guys. And they come in, they arrest evil Morty, and then he gets sent to jail, which is just like, you think like, oh, time jail would be something special. Nope, it's just standard American prison. Because, you know, they've had, you know, millennia to find out the most evil prison system. Turns out it's just American prison. Yeah, that tracks. And that's where the episode ends. Will we see evil Morty again? Yeah, probably. I mean, it's time jail after all. But, you know, we're back status quo. Hey, we did our obligatory, you know, serialized story episode for the season. And now we're just going to move on to standard Rick and Morty adventures. There was another episode that literally aired as I was talking. I'll watch it later. So yeah, with that, I guess let's talk about the Backrooms. So, the Backrooms, I guess I should say, the original concept of the Backrooms, the original 4chan post, I really like. It's just this idea of this weird liminal space outside the bounds of reality that you accidentally clip into. And then, you know, there's this idea that there might be something watching you. That, you know, you might hear something, but if you heard something, something might have heard you. It's great. The original Backrooms post is good. And then the Backrooms became popular. And at a certain point, it just became wiki trash. You know, something that people don't actually care about. They just care about the lore in the Wikipedia. You know, think SCP Foundation. Think Five Nights at Freddy's. Think Poppy Playtime. You know, things that are popular with children. Which the Backrooms definitely falls into. And so, Ken Parsons is the person, he did a lot of Backrooms shorts. Is it Ken or Kane? Fuck. It is Kane Parsons. Fuck, I have a misspelling in my notes. I was like, that sounded wrong the moment I said it. So, Kane Parsons did the YouTube Backroom shorts. That also, you know, kept it simple, kept it easy. Sure, they added some of this lore shit, you know, foundations and whatnot. But for the most part, it was a lot more basic. This movie keeps it simple. All that, you know, bullshit, SCP Light Foundation bullshit, all the wiki trash, all that's gone. None of that fucking matters. Sure, is there an organization that is monitoring the Backrooms? Yes, that is how the movie opened. And for a second, I was actually really worried. But nope, it's not nearly as important. None of that really matters. If you've never experienced anything from the Backrooms, this has you don't need to know any of the lore. This is a great introduction piece. I wouldn't really recommend going any farther than it, But as a start, this is a good place to start. No wiki trash here. Instead, this is more of a fresh take on the Backrooms. And I think it is a very interesting take. If I had to compare this movie to any other, it kind of reminds me of basically a more found footage version of the Jordan Peele movie U. If you ever saw U, which was all about, these people who were, underground and were like alternate versions of you that eventually rose to the surface and arms around the world. I don't remember what the fuck was going on in that movie. That's kind of what it reminds me of. And I like it. I think this movie is not scary. At least I did not find it scary. Instead, it's very aesthetic. It's all about atmosphere. What is this weird backrooms liminal space? They built real-life giant practical sets for the backrooms, and it all works really well. It's Chiwetel Ejiofor plays the main character for the most part, and he finds the backrooms at the in the basement of his shop, and he starts exploring it, trying to find out what's going on here, what's down here. He knows that there are other things down there, and eventually, things escalate, and it just keeps going. His therapist eventually gets involved, who, I don't remember who plays the therapist. Mary, I think her name is. I don't remember the actress's name. I want to say Chiwetel Ejiofor, his name is Chris in the movie. But it's really good. The production is really good. The script is simple, but it's meant to be. There's clearly a lot of metaphor in the movie. They talk about loops. They talk about how the backrooms, because they find like a stop sign, but the stop sign is backwards. Or they'll find like chairs, but they're like glitched into the floor. And all this stuff clearly means something. And how the backrooms is trying to like copy the world above, but it can never truly be it. And yeah, it's just really good. It's not traditionally scary. Like, I'm sure Obsession, that other movie that's out right now that I've heard is really good, is your more traditional horror movie. But this is more auteur, if that's the good word for it. And I like it. I liked it a lot. One of my big worries, again, without getting into too many spoilers, but, slight spoiler warning, is, again, with the SCP, or with the Backrooms becoming SCP, you have all those weird monsters, the weird stringy one on floor 0, the weird, alligator one, other bullshit, the chainsaw wielding one. There's so much bullshit in the Backrooms and all the different floors. None of the floor bullshit. But also, one of my worries was, okay, there's a monster down there. I kind of didn't want them to show the monster. I think the horror in this movie works best, or in theory works best, when you don't know what's chasing you. You know something is. You just don't know what. And you know that it's eating people. Like, what the fuck is it? When they do because they do show the monster, when they did show it, I was like, oh shit, that was not what I was expecting at all. But I think that's good. I think it's not a tradition, when you think Backrooms monster, or you think SCP Foundation, you have an image in your mind. This is not that. This is not that at all. And that's what I like about it. It's different. Again, you don't need any lore. There is no wiki trash to be found here. And that's good. That's part of why this movie really works. It's not perfect. I'm not going to pretend it is. But it's good. I enjoyed it. I'd recommend it. It's already doing pretty well. I think it's at least grossed like 50 million, which I don't think it had that big of a budget, so that's good. I would recommend it. It's a great movie. Go see the Backrooms. And yeah, I'm not going to get into any more spoilers than that. Just know, I recommend it. You should go check it out. It is more than worth your time. So yeah. With that, I guess we should just get into Marble League. Cause yeah, I'm good, I know I'm kind of rushing through things at the end, but God, you know, this is called the Backrooms episode. And yet I fucking talked about the Backrooms for like 10 minutes at most. And this 3-hour episode. That shit happens all the time on this show, I feel like. You know, I name the show after something preemptively. And then we just barely talk about it in the show itself. But no, it's a great movie. To be fair, I actually made the thumbnail for this episode like 4 days ago. Like, I made the thumbnail before anything else. And I've just kind of been sitting on it. Waiting. Because I knew this was going to be about the Backrooms. Alright, we got 2 Marble League. Let me hit that. Let me boop, boop, boop. Alright, so we got Javelin and the Half Pipe. So I guess let's just start here.
The advent of the Javelin appeared to us in the qualifiers, and already it has been an exciting addition to the Marble League. Hey everybody, I'm Greg Woods. The Wolfpack lead in the showdown standings over the Rojo Rollers and the Turtle Sliders, the Limers, close behind, but that's only after 2 events.
We're so big we cover.
After 2 events, we get us started in showdown number 3. First throw.
So we do have the next showdown.
For the O'Rangers,
so I am, you know, Team Galactic all the way. I think we're doing okay. I think we won a medal last week.
Second throw when we switch
for a showdown medal. You know, whatever that's worth.
57-15, 50-30.
We got good points. I think that was last showdown.
We take the best of
it might have been 2 weeks ago.
This one. And the Jawbreakers will be moving on.
All right, here we go.
Heat B, Shining Swarm, and Team Galactic. 2 captains in this first throw.
That was not good. I mean, we can still recover, but
bottom one
that's a bad start.
52-20 on the top lane.
That's
second throw,
not much better. I mean, we definitely lost that, but
they both get it in the neighborhood of 55.
That's not good.
Past 50.
I mean, at least it was a better second run. And they only take your best run.
54-5-5. Jungle Jumpers and Balls of Chaos come up next. As a reminder, this is not the sum of the 2 throws. It is the best.
I'm glad it's not the sum. If it was the sum of 2 throws, we'd be much worse.
When it comes
but
to
we're still not doing
ties.
great.
Run number 2.
Oh shit, new Lego sets dropped. Oh my god, the Lego Sega Genesis. Oh no, Lego Sega Genesis. Oh no, Lego Minas Tirith, which is $650 fucking dollars.
Jungle Jumpers get it and move.
Oh, I touched the mosquito.
P1.
I didn't kill it,
57
but I fucking felt it.
Is their best throw.
I don't know where.
Gliding Glaciers and the Minty Maniacs. And that is once again in that 55 range.
Yeah, you know, they're all kind of hitting around the same spot. It's going to be interesting to see what it does in the main show.
Beat that.
Has anybody broken
the
60?
record, by the way, goes to the Green Ducks.
Yeah, I feel like, it's all kind of been around there.
0 that was done in the qualifiers.
I know I saw 57.
The winning distance in
but
this
I've not
one.
been paying.
It's the head-to-head win, but of course it's all about how it compares to everybody else who is yet to come.
No, okay, I was like, I don't think anybody had broken.
Stack up at least through 4 heats. Jungle Jumpers 57-4-5.
God, yeah, we're not doing 52.
Ahead of the Jawbreakers
is not that good.
Also right up in there. Before we get to the main event,
that sucks.
I want to give a shout out to our team sponsors. Thank all of you. Check out their names. If you know them, thank them personally. And if you want to be them, well, stay tuned because you can be for the next event. Wolfpack, Thunderbolts. And it's Wolfpack on the top, surpassing 55. I say next event as in next Marble League, of course.
It's not good.
Because they are all set for this one, and we thank them for it. Run number 2,
Oh
let's
shit!
switch lanes.
Shrek Lego.
Very
I think
even
people are
on the
mad
impact.
at the Shrek Lego. That it's
And the javelin throw
God.
up
I
top.
hate how everything is just slop.
54.95.
I'm pretty sure I saw someone call the Shrek Lego like Lego slop.
Not
that it's just
enough
like a
to
statue.
beat the Wolfpack's 56.
This slop
That
was
is the
such
throw.
a
Puts
good
the
word.
Wolfpack into
And we
contention.
fucking
Certainly in a
ruined.
top
I don't want to say.
5.
I'm using
For now.
the opposite of the
Limers and Team
royal
Primary.
we
Limers opt in the
because
back
it was
for
great.
Sublime.
It was perfect
Captain.
at describing AI and these fucking data centers. And now it's just
50.65,
anything I don't like is slop.
49.45.
Oh,
Now
any,
they
you know,
switch sides. Team
RuneScape,
Primary
that game
got
from
the better
20 years ago.
throw
Oh,
of the
that's
two on
just
that one,
wiki slop.
and they do much
Like,
better here
fuck
compared
right
to
off.
the Limers. But neither one is going to be in contention.
That
for
word's
a
been
win.
ruined.
Just 10th for Primary and 12th for the Limers. Team Momo and Turtle Sliders come up now. Not a
It's gonna
bad
be
one
funny if
for
like
both
all these
of
showdown
the
teams
they get past
are
50.
hitting, you know, around that 55-ish
They're
mark.
also in that really middle
50,
of the pack.
51
so
to
many
57.
are around that 55
And then we get to the
range.
main
Who's gonna
event and they're
break
all
through?
hitting in the 60s.
Oh, there it is.
Shit, there we go.
That's a breakthrough.
Yeah.
That will put them into first place, 62.
Somebody broke 60 finally.
05.
But just
Excellent
picture it,
timing, by the way. Thank
everyone's
you for that.
breaking 60 all of a sudden.
Turtle
be funny.
Sliders. They come within 2.35 centimeters of breaking the Marble League record.
Holy shit, really?
Last up, and it's going to take a lot.
God,
and
yeah,
we do
God,
not see
imagine
it.
breaking the record in the
Midnight
showdown.
Wisps got all out of sorts.
Still
Their
better than
marbles
all
were
those people who
bounding
did in
off
the
of each
enhanced
other after the
games.
throw.
That's, I don't know if you read anything about that. I read a news article
Sides
about
again.
Oh,
and it's
it
not
was
gonna
such
do
a
it.
failure.
Not
But you know,
enough.
Peter Thiel's backing it, so they're going to do another one.
Both
Because they
in a
want to
tight
break Usain
duel
Bolt's
with the
record
other,
or whatever the fuck it was.
languishing in the bottom of the order.
Mess.
Rojo Rollers 15th, Midnight Wisps 16th.
I wonder.
And
Oh,
that looks
okay,
at the overall
interesting.
standings and shows that the Turtle Sliders
Yeah,
have knitted
we-
20 points.
I mean, we're right in
with
the
a
middle
win
of the pack.
in the Showdown Javelin.
Here at the end, though, we're in sixth.
Turtle
Yeah, we
Sliders
got
move to the
we
top
got you
spot
know
by just
a
2
showdown
points.
silver for whatever
And lead
that's
it.
worth.
As a part of their gold medal, Crush and Squirt did it. Jungle Jumpers and Jawbreakers come in second and third. O'Rangers in
Lego
fourth.
Ender
Wherever your team
Dragon.
finished, you can race them at home. Check out the merch
I'm just seeing
online.
because again, June 1st,
Well, after
the
the
first
last
of every
event,
month is new
things
Lego Day.
really tightened up.
and I always like seeing what
In
new
the
shit they
overall
got.
Marble League standings, the Indigo Stars have been running
I
away
actually
with
don't
it.
hate that.
Four
It's
medals
sitting
now
on like a
joined by
tilted
4
end
medals
portal.
from the Raspberry Racers.
And it looks like there
now
might be
sit
like a
just
crank
8
that flaps
behind
its
them.
wings.
Still a gap down to the
I
PBs
don't
and the
hate
Hazers
that at
as we get
all,
ready
actually.
for Javelin Heat A.
It's $70, so I'm definitely not buying it. But I do not
Opening
hate
here is a
that.
56.90 by the Green
Okay,
Ducks,
you know,
who
it was just the
mentioned
first run.
hold the
You guys
record
got this. The
in
next
this
one.
event, although it really has not been
Oh
done
no,
that
you
often.
don't. Okay,
It's a
never
really
mind.
meager throw on the
We're
top,
dropping like another
38.60.
6 places. That
Definitely not gonna
I think
help
was the
Raspberry
worst run of the
Racers
day so
score.
far. 38.
51-1
Oh,
is their best.
fuck.
Green Ducks win in the head-to-head.
And that wasn't even good for the
themselves
Green Ducks
into
either. That was
first
that
of
was
2.
nothing special for the Green
Snowballs
Ducks.
blending in nicely
Ah,
in
shit.
that starting gate, along with the crazy cat's eyes. It's
And
Snowfall
look at that.
and
That's
Snowblast
not 60, but it's
getting
close.
near 60. Orange Eye and Yellow Eye past 48. Switch sides, and can Snowballs go even better than that? They saw what it took to win the showdown.
So that puts the Snowballs in the lead.
And will they have it? They will not. 58.95 is enough to put them on the top spot for now. And that's a good mark to beat. Will it take 60?
Again, I want to see somebody break
Will
the
it take
record. That's the
challenging
fun
for the overall record to win this one? As we've seen in the past, when the marbles have a chance to sit and digest how a past event has gone, they often tend to perform better. Some get in their own heads.
You do
yes,
see that year over year.
Performing worse.
I mean, it's
under
not like a
pressure.
guaranteed thing.
That's what
but
caught out the
marbles do
Raspberry
get
Racers on
better
that
every year.
38 throw
They really
earlier on.
like. I know javelin hasn't been in it in a while,
is the second throw
but
for
still,
Team
you
Plasma,
definitely see them
and
getting
that
better.
betters their total and wins the head-to-head, putting them into third. Chocolatiers and the Savage Speeders. Bonbon and Fudge, Swifty and Velocity. Chocolatiers will hit and throw the javelin first, but it will be the shorter of the two. 56 even for the Savage Speeders. That would put them into third. What can they do this time? Better. 58
I mean, yeah, that's
for the Speeders.
I think that might put them in first.
And that
it's close.
moves them into second place.
Okay, it is. I couldn't remember if the other one got
only mustered
25
a
or 28 or
47.7.
something.
8th. Halfway through, 58.95.
Okay,
and
no, that's a lot.
There is a tie. Now remember, we said the lesser throw of the two is the one that gets scored next. So because of that higher lesser throw, that puts the Cats up on top. Thanks to all of our YouTube members. We hope that you've been enjoying this Marble League as much as we have. It has been a good one so far.
I mean, I've been having a good time.
Javelin Heat E. Mellow Yellow and Indigo Stars now, just one captain in the mix. And that's an excellent throw by Mellow Yellow.
Yeah,
that
I think there's our
breaks
60.
And
finally
puts them into first, regardless of what happens in the second throw. Mellow Yellow in contention for a medal, surely. They can't better it on throw number 2. But what a launch of the javelin by Yelim and Yellow. The captain was in front on that first launch that saw them better 60.55. Indigo Stars go into 10th, by the way. 3 heats left. Bumblebees and Oceanics. Can anybody get past Mellow Yellow? Not too long ago, I said, would 60 be what it takes to win this event? Unless Bumblebees and Oceanics get better
60
here, it
is
might
super
be.
important.
They do get better. They went from throws of 49 to second throws past
enough.
55. 57.30
I mean, yeah, even
is not too shabby.
Fourth,
it sets the Oceanics just off the podium, though. But they look to net some good points. Cobalts and the Hazers. Also just one captain in the field here.
No, and the Cobalts need this. Oh my gosh! Talk about it. Talk about doing so good last year.
Not too bad.
And then just completely
need to go better if they want some hardware.
Like, oh,
not going to happen. Hazers and Cobalts put themselves in the middle of the pack, by my count. Yes, 6th for the Hazers, 9th for the Cobalts. And that means Mellow Yellow guaranteed a medal.
Yep.
Blackjacks and the Pinkies.
It's a question of can they keep their gold.
For the first throw, and it's not a good one.
I was looking good for them.
Fortunes flip majorly. Mellow Yellow could be en route to winning this event. Somebody's got to get past 60, and they will not. Mellow Yellow wins the javelin. Held for the second time in the Marble League. With a 60.55, Pinky's only good enough for 7th. Blackjacks toward the bottom in 14th. That means the Snowballs get the silver, and the Savage Speeders get the bronze.
I think the Savage Speeders really needed that, if I remember correctly. They're also pretty
Snowballs
low. Green
down
Ducks,
in 9th in the overall
I mean, they need
standings.
the medal more.
Savage Speeders in
but they're
7th.
low.
Mellow Yellow.
I thought the Savage Speeders were
5th
lower.
place with that door open. Pinku Neko says, claws out, fangs bared, wolf pack on the hunt.
First gold ever for yellow.
Congratulations
Wow.
to our podium finishers. What does this do to the standings? Indigo Stars, hold on. Still by 3 over Raspberry Racers. Mellow Yellow.
Oh
up
no,
to
we did not
third.
fall at
Snowball's
all.
up 5 to 4th.
Wow.
Coming up next, the half pipe.
Yeah, I mean, and we're so close to the Indigo Stars. God. I think it's just, we just had that much of a lead. And now it's just a question of, can we keep it?
The half pipe first appeared in Marble League
half
competition
pipe.
in the
I
qualifiers
think
back
Raspberry
in 2018.
Racers are good at this one.
But since then, no team has won it more than once. Will today be the
Okay,
day?
then
Hey,
that
everybody,
means nothing.
I'm Greg Woods. Red Swarm and the Green Swarm, a little throwback from 2022 and 23, showing you the demo here. 4 marbles per team. The goal, stay in the half pipe the longest. Whichever marble finishes first doesn't count for your team. It's
Okay,
the
I was
other
like,
3
I couldn't
that
remember if it
do.
was the first or
So
the
you can
last that didn't
sacrifice
count.
one
First
marble to
makes
push
sense,
them
though.
down the course while you push yourself up. Weave, meander,
If I
go
remember
up the
correct,
pipe
that
on
is
the
the
launch,
strategy.
whatever you need
Is
to
to
do,
sacrifice one
stay in
order
the
to
longest.
protect the other
You'll
3.
notice we are going by total time.
That's how you play
the longer
those.
time, the better.
It's just that's hard to do.
We had some movement.
That is
after
not
the
an easy
last
thing to do.
round. Can you believe we are well into the second half of this Marble League already? Indigo Stars had a massive lead, but it has come down quite a bit now to just
It really
3.
the lead has
Pinkies
definitely.
and the
Indigo Stars were
are
so
up now. The
far
Pinkies sit
ahead
in 5th in the
for
standings,
so
and look at
long.
this: 3 Indigo
And
Stars
yeah,
were
it's
behind
definitely
nearly
tightened
all
up
of the
a
Pinkies.
lot.
Now they're working together a little bit better. 2 Pinkies far back
And that's not
behind,
gonna
but
help
they had
them.
an early finisher for their 3rd marble. What will that do? And it is enough. 33.96
Yep.
gets them the head-to-head win here in Heat A.
Okay, they do multiple
Results
runs.
of both
I
runs
just
being
never.
tallied.
Some events you only do
Longest
once, some you
time
do multiple
wins.
times. Maybe it's the swing wave I'm thinking of that you only do once.
Now they are nearly alternating. Last 2 Pinkies are going to come across. After all of the Indigo Stars have finished, that's usually a good indication. And it is 32.65. So add those times together, 66.61 to a 61.07. And that knocks out the Indigo Stars, at least in the head-to-head, but we'll have to see how that compares to all of the other runs. Here's Cobalts and the Bumblebees. Down they come. Cobalts, our last place team in the Marble League. Bumblebees in 8th.
Far they fallen.
As they go back and forth
Like
here.
I'm not rooting for
When
them.
these teams
It's
first
just
began,
crazy to go from last
Cobalts,
year to
they go back a
this.
little ways. All the way back to 2016. Bumblebees.
Hey, but at least
they were in
Cobalt fans
2020.
had a
This is a
winning year.
close matchup. 31-5
at least they
to a
have.
39-5.
Some of us, yeah, sure. 10 years of
Switch positions
suffering,
and drop them in, and the
and
Bumblebees
then
has one of their
nothing.
marbles shoot down
and
the
then
course.
one big event, and now
Not
they're back
what
to
they had
suffering.
hoped for.
Whereas I've
Look at this. 2 marbles well back behind.
Wow, okay, that's
Cobalts
actually pretty good.
Are just gonna
talking
cruise down
shit.
the bottom.
our 10 years
And
of
they've done it
mediocrity.
and set a
Not
new
mediocrity,
Marble
just
League
10
record.
years of 5th place.
35 was the old one by the Crazy Cat's Eyes back in 2024.
Yeah,
this is a
that's-
36-5-2.
that last
and
one
it gives
to
them a 2-run
fall
total
was
of
way back there.
68.
Oh my gosh.
0.09. Puts them into 1st. Bumblebees go into 4th. Oceanics and the Hazers now. Hazers, their lead marble, is lowest on the course. Then it is 2 for the Oceanics. That does change as they come across the line, but this was also a fairly close heat. Hazers were the last to cross,
Wow.
but look at this.
Yeah, that's
By
so
just a
close.
fraction. The Oceanics win that heat. Here is run 2. Hazers this time have one climbing up the half pipe. Then it is 2 for the Oceanics. Oceanics are speeding up. Not what they wanted. Hazers with that last marble. Will that be enough? This is another close one. No. The Oceanics got it in run number 2, and they get it overall in the heat. 62.64 to a 62.45. That puts the Oceanics into 3rd. Hazers move up into 4th. Mellow Yellow and the Blackjacks. Last two marbles side by side.
They were losing ground there for
Mellow
a
Yellow
second.
just barely comes ahead, but it's all about those earlier finishers.
Yeah. Okay, maybe it actually did
This
matter.
one's even closer.
That's
200ths between them.
I did not think that one was that close.
This run going to do a lot of work to separate them. Blackjacks would love a great finish. They're down in 15th, only in front of the Cobalts. This is looking a little better for Mellow Yellow. No, now they lose some positions. Blackjacks will be the last to cross.
I think Blackjack still. No,
no, not enough. Mellow Yellow 31.81. 0.6 seconds ahead.
It really does show that even having one marble like far back
Mellow Yellow will get
doesn't
the win,
help
but only
as
move
much
into
as
fifth.
If like two are ahead, it does not help that much. And yeah, the Cobalt, even having a record breaker,
Marble League record,
that's their first run was not
since it is
that
across
good.
2 runs.
So
really good
233s would
do it, but you got to feel like the momentum is on their side. Well, thank you to all of our team sponsors sending your momentum to your teams.
234s.
And if you want to support your team every single day, maybe you race them every single day, you can check out all of the team sets, plus the Skyway Chase and the Hyperloop, where you can race them.
I mean, if we keep pushing it for the next few years, eventually we'll get closer to 40.
Well, while they are having a blast up in the stands, we want to thank you for letting us have a blast.
I'm so tired.
The different tiers on the YouTube membership levels allow us to continue to bring you the content that you love and bring this Marble
is why I always do
way
this shit on like
to crowning a champion.
You know, this is why I started doing this shit on
Raspberry
Saturday,
Racers.
because then I don't work the
Raspberry
next day.
Racers send one high up the half pipe. It does not touch the back wall yet. And then it is 2 of the Chocolatiers, but they're dueling with some contact for the Raspberry Racers.
If we hadn't hit that,
keep those last 2 Chocolatiers behind.
We would have been a lot better. We still took
it,
though.
Not enough. Raspberry Racers 31.31 to a 30.97. Racers have seen a lot of movement over the course of this tournament, and they are now nipping at the heels of the Indigo Stars, especially with an early elimination, or at least a lower classification for the Indigo Stars earlier on in this event. You got to feel the door is open.
I think this is going to be close.
And what does run number 2 do? This was fairly close.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it was. Half a second between them, not even.
Barely.
2-run total puts the Raspberry Racers into 5th and the Chocolatiers into 7th. Getting down to our final 3 heats. Green Ducks and Plasma, they sit together in the standings, 1 spot apart. Plasma's in 9th, Green Ducks in 10th, 10 points separating them. Not big side-to-side movement for some of the lower finishers, especially for the Green Ducks. That maybe expedited their process of getting down to the bottom. Yeah, 28.62. That is one of the lower totals that I think we have seen over the course of this event. It is the lowest, in fact. They're going to need a big one here.
That's not good.
They send 2 up to the top, but they're sandwiched in between.
Again.
The last 2 for Team Plasma. Now one of the Green Ducks manages to linger and goes to the back. It's a dead
I don't
heat
think
for
that's
that
enough.
Final
I mean, it
Plasma
could be,
finisher
but
and
I don't think
3rd
so.
Green Duck. What does this do in the head-to-head? The Green
I'm bad
Ducks
with
did
this.
just enough. 32,
you know, I put a lot of weight on the end ones,
in the head-to-head?
and clearly it's not that much.
For the 2-run total.
It's if, you know, 2 wins close together.
For the Green Ducks, that puts them into 10th. Plasma only good enough for 7th. Solar Flares and the Snowballs. Flares, 1 gold medal in these games, but they sit down in 13th. The Snowballs, they've got 3 medals, 2 silvers and a bronze. They're up in 4th. 3 for the Solar Flares crossed before that last
you can barely
snowball.
See the snowballs.
And it's a 33.60 for them. Once again, could we get some good consistency out of them? If they notch a 33 and change again, that would challenge them for the gold. Can they do it? A bit of contact down in the lower marbles. More contact up top. 3 in a row for the Solar Flares before that final snowball. What did that do? They did another 33. And that moves the Solar Flares into silver.
What did I say? 2 33s.
4-1 to a 64-77.
Yeah,
I
that's
said it
about a
wasn't going to
second
take a Marble League
behind.
record. Just
A
consistency.
little more than that behind.
Now, can anybody get by
first
the
place
Cobalts? They are guaranteed a medal. The only teams that can unseat would be Crazy Cat's Eyes and Savage Speeders. They are alternating as they come down pretty evenly. Savage Speeders were the last to cross, and they narrowly get the early lead here in Heat H, the final heat of this event. 10 events into this Marble League we will be after this one's done. Down they come.
Yeah, 10
It's gonna
events,
take a
and there's
lot.
only 6 left. We got
Can
3
anybody
more
knock
weeks
off
of
the
this.
Cobalts? Speeders are getting in their
And I
own
saw
way.
the
They're
swing
bumping
wave
into
in the
each other.
background.
Some of the Crazy Cat's
So we're
Eyes
definitely
are
coming up
speeding
on
off
that.
into the distance while the Speeders linger. It will not be enough. The Cobalts, from last in the standings, win.
And
at
you know,
the
you'd
half
think
pipe.
being a speeder would mean you're, like, bad at this. And, like, 8th is,
Solar
middle of the
Flares take
pack,
the
but
silver,
still.
and the home team Pinkies get the bronze.
And we're still above them. Wow.
This was close up top. If you cleared 65 on your 2-run total, you were guaranteed a medal. Cobalts will notch 25 points. That is more than half of all of the points that they have coming into this event.
They needed that so bad. Is this the comeback?
Snowballs.
I don't think so.
Turkey Hester,
But-
number 1 most enthusiastic
I mean, nobody's been
Snowballs fan.
mathematically eliminated.
Oh, man.
yet.
Snowballs are a passionate bunch, and so are all of their fans.
That'll actually probably protect them. That probably
Standing atop the podium.
that
Can you
win
believe it?
alone
It's just the third
buys
gold medal
them
for the
probably
Cobalts.
another week from
Their
mathematical
10th medal
elimination.
overall and the first half-pipe gold for this team. They have never been up there, and it continues. We do not have a repeat winner, although they were runners-up in their event back in the Marble League qualifiers.
And hey,
Raspberry
once
Racers
again,
have taken
the
the
Green
top
Ducks
spot
are the highest
over the
team
Indigo Stars. That
without a
Mellow
medal.
Yellow
Because that's what it
Pinkies
was
are up
last
to
year.
4th.
The Green
Solar
Ducks were the
Flares
highest
jumped
team
4
without a
as
medal.
well. Cobalts are up 3. Coming up
Admittedly,
next.
they were doing a lot
The
better. I
fourth-
want to say last year they were like 8th without a medal. And that pushes us up. I didn't even... I was looking more down here to see where the Cobalts were. I didn't even... Wow. We're 2 points ahead. I hope it sticks. You know, we got Swing Wave. I think we're good at Swing Wave. God, I hope we are. So, we'll see. But, yeah, that's coming up. Plus the showdown. More showdown. God. Yeah, there's still so much to do. Alright, let's just do that. Yeah, there we go. And I guess that takes us to the end. So, coming up in this next week, what do we have showing up here in the near future? Well, the big thing is Summer Games Fest. Summer Games Fest technically isn't for a few more days, but the PlayStation Showcase is technically tomorrow, because it's past midnight when we're doing this. So the PlayStation Showcase will be on June 2nd. We will be here. Again, I think it starts at like 4. I'll be off work by that point. So yes, we will be doing a live reaction to the PlayStation Showcase. It's over an hour long. I'm not going to the Alamo Draft House. I saw the tickets went up, and I was like, oh, that's tempting, but no. We're going to be doing a live reaction. And so that's the first thing. And then we'll be back later in the week with Summer Games Fest. And probably next week's show for WIBE will also be on Sunday, because Sunday is the Microsoft show. And I think it just makes the most sense for us to wait until the Microsoft show and then do it. And then maybe the week out, and then, yeah, maybe we'll get back into a more normal schedule after that. But I'm fine waiting an extra few days, and maybe we'll literally do the Xbox show and then do the podcast right afterwards. And we'll go over everything that happens, but of course, I'll live react to Summer Games Fest, I'll live react to the Xbox show. I hope there's a Nintendo show coming soon. So that's the plan for the next week. Game-wise, now that we've beaten New Super Mario Bros. U, I know the next logical choice is to do the DS game. New Super Mario Bros. DS, maybe even New Super Mario Bros. 2. Both of those are definitely on my radar, because we've never done a DS game before, but I'm totally down to do a DS game. Like, that seems like fun. So I will definitely keep that on my radar. That's the first thing. The second thing is because I've been playing Mina the Hollower. It's made me want to replay Shovel Knight. But I'm not going to drop Mina the Hollower to play Shovel Knight. But I think that would be a good excuse. It's like, oh yeah, we're doing it on stream. I've played Shovel Knight like 20 times. So, well, I guess that with all of its expansions and, you know, all the Spectre of Torments and King of Cards. I think I've only played King of Cards twice. The other ones I've played a bunch, though. So I'm thinking maybe we sit down, we do those, we have a good time. And yeah, I think that makes the most sense. So that's also a potential. Definitely sometime within the next week, I will decide which one of those we're doing. But that'll just, you know, happen in due time. And yeah, I think that's it. I don't really have anything else. So with that, I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Till next time, peace.